We are live and we are back for a brand new season of House of the Dragon. Season 3 started up this past Sunday. It's been a couple days. We've been able to reflect and digest the episode, and we have many thoughts to share with you today. Please let me know if you can hear us and all that, because we're very technically gifted professionals. But yeah, we are here to discuss the first episode, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood. We're here to get a title with a comma in it. It's interesting. But, yeah. Yep. Haven, are you with us?
I've been here the whole time.
Oh, hiding in the shadows.
That's not true. I went to get water.
You got better after getting hit by that grapnel and being sunk in?
Yeah, well, I needed the cold water because I'm melting in England right now, so
I did just get in from a swim, so I was channeling Jace a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Bit of Jace LARP.
A little bit.
I'd love to see it.
But yeah, what did you think of this episode? General thoughts before we get into the nitty-gritty.
General thoughts. I thought it was pretty good episode 9. Pretty good episode 9.
That's fair.
For a premiere, very messy in terms of pacing, because it is literally episode 9 of last season merged with obligatory premiere stuff, which is, recapping what's happened, setting up the rest of the season, reminding the audience about certain things. So the pacing's a bit off. But overall I did enjoy the episode. I thought I think the scenes were strong. The gullet itself, I thought, was a pretty cool battle. I'll go into more detail later. There are some issues I had with it, and I also think it was ridiculously overhyped by Ryan Condal. I think he set expectations.
I would agree with that.
Like bafflingly high. But overall, no, I thought it was a good episode, but I feel like I can't even fully judge it until I've seen episode 2. I'm almost going to treat episode 1 and 2 as a two-parter. The 2 episodes that should have ended season 2. So, yeah. But for now, if I had to give it a number, I'm kind of around a 7 out of 10, like a high 7 out of 10.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those streams where we just fully agree with each other on everything, and it's all boring. But
Fun.
I mostly agree with what you said there. I think it was an 8 for me when I watched it initially. Rewatch brought it down to about a 7.5. I have a few nitpicks here and there. This was very much clearly intended to be the penultimate episode of last season, the big battle. And I said this on Twitter at one point, I'm sure other people have as well, that this episode kind of faced similar problems to the Winds of Winter, which is kind of funny, in that both like season 2 and A Dance with Dragons had like their massive naval battle that was supposed to be the finale cut off, and now we need to get into the new entry while still doing this massive battle and not really getting to introduce everything. Which I do find funny, given the current beef. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it, despite a few issues in a few areas. What do you think of the title, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood?
I will quickly say some people are saying that my volume should be turned up slightly. Are you able to do that?
Oh, I will do that right quick, yeah.
Crack me up a bit. People say they can barely hear me. I can't be that quiet. Come on, guys. I will
turn you up. You are turned up.
Thank you so much. Okay, what was the question again?
What do you think of the title?
Oh, the title.
Is it as good as the Queen Who Ever Was?
It can't reach the heights of the Queen Who Ever Was,
the greatest title of all time,
or even the heights of Small Folk and Regent. But it's pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm almost surprised that they used Fire and Blood.
I know, like the title of the book.
Yeah, and not only using the title of the book, but putting it next to something else, right? Like having it be the second half of the title. You'd almost imagine this would be like a season 4 finale title, in the same way that A Song of Ice and Fire is the name of the final episode of Game of Thrones. No, it's not.
Are you serious?
No, I completely.
Do you know what the title is?
It's The Iron Throne.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I completely got mixed up. What am I?
This is the first time we've had a book's title as the title of an episode, because I think there was a season 5, either finale or penultimate, was like The Dance of Dragons, which gets on my nerves for a few reasons.
Yeah. And we had what about The Winds of Winter?
Oh, that's true. I forgot. That book doesn't exist yet, though. So
yeah, that's true.
Not really.
That's true. So we did technically get The Winds of Winter, though.
That's I buy the theory that like that was out of spite by David and Dan. Like they are delivering the Winds of Winter when Martin couldn't. But anyway.
But yeah, no. Anyway, to actually answer your question, I think it's a cool title.
I agree.
Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood evokes the Valarians and the Targaryens. The naval battle on the tides and the not dragon battle, but the dragons taking part in the fight from up above. Yeah, I think it's a cool title.
Yeah, and it's nice because like I feel like the only titles that I actually liked last season were directly from Fire and Blood. So this is a good improvement and a step in the right direction.
Like the Black Dragon and the Gold, that one.
The Red Dragon and the Gold?
The Red Dragon and the Gold.
Dude.
Quinn, my brain is melting. You don't understand.
That's
it's
true.
So
Isn't it hot over there?
It's boiling. I'm by English standards, it's boiling. Like I'm. There's literally like health warnings given by the government. This doesn't usually happen.
Oh well, thank you.
Like my brain is melting out of my head.
Before we dive into the other, the specific parts of the episode, thank you to A Channel of Ice and Fire for the super chat. Hey guys, I personally thought this was a strong opening to season 3. I particularly enjoyed Ormond and the Seeds, but Alicent, man, I don't know why she's so keen on seeing her sons dead and protecting her daughter and granddaughter. That's a good point, and I'm sure we will get into it. Thank you very much to The Channel of Ice and Fire, great Ice and Fire channel, as that name would imply. If you have anything you'd like to share as well, feel free to leave a super chat, and be sure to like the stream and subscribe to Fantasy Haven and myself.
Ooh, how kind.
But yeah, let's dive into more specific stuff. I forget the order we put this in. Oh yeah, the opening. What did you think of that? The new everything.
The new opening. So yes, the music is slightly different. I was trying to work out how exactly, because I saw some early reviews saying, "Oh, the intro's different." I was like, "Okay, new music, but it's just the Game of Thrones theme with what? Harder drums, more drums."
I think like war drums is the intention.
Yeah.
I was having trouble. Like I love, obviously all of the composition for this show is incredible. But I did have a little bit of trouble telling the difference in the theme here.
Yeah, I just noticed the more aggressive drums to give it that warlike atmosphere. Honestly, I can sit here and say, yeah, that's a cool change, but what I want is a new theme.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also want a new sigil.
Oh, and not the sigil that's currently on screen.
Too many legs. The Blackfire thing is fine, but too many legs.
But just the legs, yeah. Glidus will have a field day with this one.
I'm sure he has.
So what did you think about the little Blackfire tease? The sort of the tapestry unfurling, and we kind of skip over something that will happen in the future of Targaryen history before we head on to the title card. Because I thought it was cool as hell. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I did too. And I was thinking,
it makes sense with Duncan Egg being out.
I think it works better than just like the transition into the throne that we had with the previous intro. I think keeping it all tapestry is pretty cool. And it is very much like leading into the next era of conflict, which, we did see a guy with the Blackfire sigil back in season 1, the guy with the...
yes, the Herald.
The Herald, that's what it was. But yeah, no, I liked the intro.
Strongest Blackfire supporter.
Let's see. What do we have next?
I mean, anything beats whatever the hell was going on in season 1. That was
that was pretty hard to track.
That sucked.
Did not care for it.
But do you think that this intro is going to evolve over the course of the season, like how in season 2 new events that happened throughout the season became part of the tapestry, or do you think we're just going to have the same thing where it kind of does a speed runs through Targaryen history, then ends?
I would guess that it'll be updated, and I also think that is, if it is going to happen for this episode. So I think we'll know or not by episode 2, because obviously we just saw something that is very much, worth including on a tapestry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a cool little intro, and then we start the episode, Quinn. What happens?
We see a little sheep stealer, who I think has maybe my favorite dragon design in the entire show. Vhagar is close. I think I might still like Vhagar more, but like the book describes sheep stealer as a notably ugly brown dragon, and I think they've captured that perfectly. And he does just look so wild as well. Like the jaw, like it gives the impression that, like, that jaw was broken at some point and it didn't heal right, and that begs the question, like, by what? I think it's very good, like, kind of subtle storytelling of this dragon having somewhat of a storied past.
Yeah, the underbites, the sort of the mottled skin. It is an ugly beast. And I love the design too. Yeah, I'm torn too on my favorite because I do like Silverwing's design a lot, and you know, Caraxes might be my favorite, but this might come second because yeah, it's so distinctive, and it's all you know, they've done a great job with giving the different dragons different personalities. Not all of the dragons, but you know, Caraxes has a certain vibe that's different from Vagar, which is different from Cyrax, which is different from the sort of the brutish Vermithor, which is different from Sheepstealer, who just, you know, is a bit of a rebel, a bit of an outcast, and that shines through not just in the design but how it acts. And of course, it's meant to be the dragon reflects the rider. Rhaena in the show is an outcast, sort of the black sheep, as it were, of the Targaryen family. I won't say the black dragon because that has connotations. Shout out the previous slide. But no, yeah, okay. Should we do we want to address the elephant in the room?
Yes, the absent character in the room. No Nettles, and Condell did go into his rationale for that a little bit, but I do think we pretty much heard that before, though just kind of in less certain terms. I don't know if I know your opinion on the Nettles changes. I've discussed mine in videos, and I'll go over it again here, but
I've never really gone into too much detail before because I was always like, let's wait until it's officially confirmed. And so now I can
Nettles
officially
just doesn't
give my
come
opinion.
out behind a hill.
Oh yeah, there's still hey, there's 7 episodes to go.
That's true.
Who knows? Maybe Rhaena's gonna say, I can't control this dragon, and then you hear a voice in the background. That's because I already do. Boom, Nettles appears. The fans go crazy.
Nettles will return in Westeros Endgame.
That's Nettles music. Oh my god. No, here's my take on Nettles. My opinion has actually evolved, right? Because post season 1, I actually came up with the idea that Rhaena might replace Nettles just because they made a point of her not having a dragon and feeling a bit isolated because of it. And there's a scene in the finale of season 1 when Daemon says is like, oh, there are 3 wild dragons and there are unclaimed dragons, and it cuts to Rhaena looking up, kind of hopefully. And I thought, oh, are they going to give her a dragon? And I thought, oh, because she's Daemon's daughter and Nettles is rumored to potentially be Daemon's daughter, are they going to merge the characters? And back then, I kind of didn't mind the idea. I was like, okay, let's streamline it. I don't mind that. But my opinion talking to some people, my opinion has changed over time. I do think that Nettles is a very important character for this big, brutal war of nobles slaughtering and burning the peasantry for their own petty ambitions. Nettles is the face of the small folk, right? Not only does she represent... Not only does she give us, you know, a powerful small folk character because she is just a nobody. It's also important, I think, to have a character that isn't obviously Valyrian and may not even be Valyrian. That kind of pushes back against the idea of the pure, perfect Valyrian bloodline being a necessary requirement for riding a dragon. It could be that it could just be a cunning peasant girl, a commoner, genuinely seduced a dragon with sheep and managed to ride her, and or him. What's Sheepstealer meant to be?
Sheepstealer's a boy.
A boy. But yes,
I agree.
And there's more to say, but I don't want to ramble for too long. So what are your thoughts on?
I think also, like, looking at Nettles and her not obviously being Valyrian and the method she uses to claim Sheepstealer, I think all of that is going to be important to the future of the story. I think we are going to get a situation in The Winds of Winter or Dream of Spring where we have someone claiming a dragon in a similar way to Nettles. I think Tyrion is probably the most likely candidate. I don't think Tyrion is a Targaryen, but I think there's a pretty strong chance that he could potentially ride a dragon, and if he did, I think it would probably be through some method like Nettles did. Alternative being Victarion Greyjoy, because he is currently sailing into a dragon fight with a ship full of pork, and he could accidentally tame a dragon that way.
Incredible.
I think that part of my issue, at least in this episode, is the change to the method of taming as well. Like, Rhaena doesn't feed him sheep for a month. Which could have been cool to preserve that element of the character, and that being the reason she was able to claim this dragon despite being unable to in the past. But
I'll
yeah.
I'll just play devil advocate and say potentially we could still see some sheep stuff. We could see
True.
Raina could see as, oh no, Sheep Stealer was not listening to me.
Oh, so I
Maybe
need to
he's
like
kind of-
ingratiate myself.
Yeah, he's rejected me as a rider, so I'm going to try and get him on my side with some sheep. So it could still happen, but yes, I do kind of wish we had Nettles and that character. I do wish we had the 4 dragon seeds interacting. I wish the 4 of them were trying to tame the dragons during the red sowing, and like it's just a fun group of characters. And
I also Nettles would not be the first dragon seed I would cut. I would cut Ulf. As much as I love Ulf in the show.
Yeah, if you were like, right, you can only have 3 dragon seeds, get rid of 1, you merge Hugh and Ulf.
Yes.
Like, that's just what you do. Getting rid of Nettles is bizarre. And I think something else that I think is equally important, it's not just the fact that Nettles is an important character and could provide so much to the show and, you know, everything I've said before. It's also that Raina is not an interesting character. She's not an interesting character in Fire and Blood or in the show. She's actively quite boring, and it's nothing to do with the performance. I think the performance is actually quite good, especially in this episode.
I really liked her this episode.
They like screaming the Valyrian and just being like, "Oh fuck!" Like I like the energy, but Raina is such a boring character. She's done nothing for the whole show. The scenes that she is in, she's just kind of like, "Oh, I'm just a gentle princess with a soft-spoken voice." She's so dull. I mean, her sister Baela is also pretty dull in the show, but you know, at least she's got a sort of confident air and energy about her.
I also think
let's see where she goes. But Raina just bores me in every scene she's in. She's so boring. I don't care. I only care about these scenes insofar as we get to see Sheep Stealer, who's a cool design and has a cool personality. I'm not excited to see more Raina going on.
I actually am. I think I agree that she's been very underutilized and a bit boring up until this point, but the idea of giving her a dragon during the war and then creating this conflict from her not being able to control it and maybe causing things accidentally that way, I think will create some interesting drama around her. And I think in a vacuum, the idea of giving her more of a role in the war is a good one, but I also think it could have been accomplished by her claiming one of the other wild dragons who wasn't having a rider in the war previously. Like if she claimed like Grey Ghost or the Cannibal or something. I think that would have accomplished the same result without deleting a character, and I do think there will be some interesting dynamics to explore in the aftermath of the Gullet itself, but we'll get into all that dragon stuff a little later on. Also, I should say, I think I forgot to say this at the top, we will not be doing book spoilers this stream. We'll have a section at the end where there will be some book spoilers, but we'll very clearly signal that, so if you are worried about that, don't be.
Yes. I'm sure there'll be more to discuss in terms of Raina and Nettles in future episodes, but generally speaking, I would prefer if this was Nettles, and I would personally prefer if Raina just wasn't a character, or like, you know, existed but kind of doesn't, because she doesn't do anything in the books during the war, so like, just, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
See where it goes.
Moving on to Larys and Aegon. Before getting into like the actual merits of this scene, the image reminded me of one of my bigger issues with the episode generally, which was at points it didn't look great. I feel like this scene and the early scenes in King's Landing, the like dawn lighting filter was on way too heavily. And everything looked very orange. It was bordering on Breaking Bad Mexico to me. And I wasn't huge on the way it looked.
Does that explain the Larys glow up?
It does. You messaged in the Discord like saying, "Oh, he looks so much better." He's literally just shaved, I think.
That's all it takes, bro. That's all it takes. He looks younger than he did when he was meant to be 20 years younger in season 1.
Kristen too, in fairness.
That's true. Well, yeah, Kristen has just been the same age. Larys is de-aging. What the hell is going on? He's looking good, man. His eyebrows are on fleek. Look at that. Maybe is he styling his eyebrows now? His hair looks better. Maybe it's probably just the wigs improved.
I think it's also being next to, Rickety Cricket there.
That is true. Yes. Oh, I do love characters going through a Rickety Cricket arc. I love a character just being increasingly mutilated.
But I really loved this scene, and I love their dynamic. just them getting, stopped by guards does very much make sense. Laris's explanation of them being in service of the Citadel is a good one, and I like that he had to pull out the fact that Aegon was Aegon in order to ensure they weren't executed. I think it creates some interesting dynamics going forward, because I'm sure that Aegon won't be happy about that. But yeah, I love them. I think it was very in character for Aegon not to want to kneel, and it is interesting seeing the two versions of this character kind of converge. Because, obviously, end of last season, Aegon was just, kind of trying to recover, and that was about it. But now we have both this Aegon who is still recovering, and kind of that old version of him that's just kind of a prick, kind of merging together. And it's very Theon to me, almost, with, Theon coming back into himself in the Winds of Winter sample chapter, and us getting those two identities kind of colliding.
Yeah, this universe likes to break characters down in order to rebuild them. It's always exciting to see how will they be rebuilt. What will they be once they are reforged from the flames of whatever torture they've gone through, physical and mental. Yeah, I liked this scene as generally, but I've got a bit of a nitpick about it, which is that it annoys me when smart characters don't go the extra. And I know it's a timing issue, but they don't go the extra way. There's a lot in this show of a character will try something, it fails, and then they kind of give up and go, okay. When Alan Caswell in season 1 is tries to escape the city and they capture him, and they're why were you trying to escape? And he just stands there silently.
He just says nothing.
Yeah, and I was there are so many excuses you could have given. And in this scene, it was obviously I understand that Laris's plot is to delay their death further by saying, oh, you need us as hostages, and then they're going to plan an escape later. But I feel there's so many things he could have said when Aegon refused to bow. Sorry, my apprentice, it pains him to sit down, he's wounded, or he's soft in the head, he doesn't understand what you're saying. And I feel like he just jumped immediately to, oh, well, the script needs these characters to know who we are, so we're just going to reveal it immediately.
Yeah, I do think there could have been a little bit more there. But also, I did feel like it wasn't too illogical.
I felt like you could have achieved it by Laris having more, more tricks up his sleeve, and the thing that foils them is they search through their belongings due to Aegon being a bit suspicious, and then they go, oh, you have a crown. How did you get this?
Or if they want to amp up the drama and kind of mirror another scene in this episode, maybe almost execute one of them. We saw Orwyle's head on the block at the very beginning of the episode. Maybe it's similar, and that's the moment of desperation that brings it out.
You could have these Staunton guards just be a bunch of, bloodthirsty psychos during war who are take their ravens, take their gold, kill them, screw it.
Is Staunton Rook's Rest? Am I remembering that right?
Yes.
So I was going to say, they have reason to be, extra vengeful.
Yeah. Aegon could hesitate for a bit, and then they go, screw it, you're Aegon sympathizers, long live Lord Staunton, rest in peace. And then they just go to do it, and Laris is no, you need us as hostages.
And this plot line is a rather large divergence from the book that is kind of necessary, but I haven't really seen people talk about it much. In Fire and Blood... Intrigued. What was that?
I was just saying, I'm very intrigued just because... Well, yeah, you're about to... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that in Fire and Blood, Aegon vanishes for the entirety of this chunk of the story until a much later point. And I really like that part in Fire and Blood where we flash back and go through what Aegon has been up to, but that really doesn't work for the story, I don't think. But yeah, it is very much a shift to actually get to see what they're going through, and I am excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, because obviously, yeah, I was about to say something a bit spoilery, but
yeah,
I didn't say anything spoilery earlier, did I?
I think I would have caught it if you did, or the chat would have yelled at us probably.
Okay, because it was only you reminding the audience that there aren't spoilers that made me go, oh shit! I haven't said
that is a
spoiler,
part of. I did it to remind both of us because I realized I almost said something in the Rhaena section.
But yeah, it'll be interesting seeing what the writers come up with, because there is that gap in the book. So, and of all the characters to follow, these are two of my favorite characters and actors in the show. So I can't wait to see how they bounce off each other and sort of what they get up to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because they were
buddy
so
cop duo.
Tied together through what happened to Aegon, but now they kind of have to figure out how things are in the aftermath of that. I'm excited. What was that?
Sorry, just Cal in the chat saying, we can't have a character disappearing for a whole season. The humble Brandon Stark. What if Aegon does disappear and then comes back with the best story?
Yeah, no personality, but the best story. I'm gonna do a few super chats before the next one, if that's cool.
I laugh because otherwise I'd cry. Yes, go on, super chats.
Thank you to Pioneer 10F. Personally, with the exception of 2 character exclusions, one expected, one not, I assume Nettles and maybe Unwin. I really enjoyed this episode. It would have been a very good finale. I agree. Thank you to a dude who loves a song Ice and Fire. Why in the 7 hells did YouTube give me an ad? I don't know. Pioneer 10F.
Quinn.
What was that?
Turn off monetization during live streams. I've talked about this.
I don't know how to do. Is it in the thing?
What do you mean you don't know? It's when you set up the stream. You set it up and you move through the whole, and it gets to the monetization part. And you just click on ads and click on no.
That shall be fixed. Pioneer 10F, thank you again. Random for me to say, I don't like, but I like the Blackfire sigil having 4 legs since they aren't the true dragons. That is a pretty cool interpretation. Thank you to Lord Peasbury. I hope they add a character who's the ancestor of that guy who said Maekar funny in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Mirka.
That was bizarre. Thank you to Vandalman 8, something theater, also Milk. I assume that's one of your patrons. Thank you to the John Frey saying Ray Nettles and Ship Stealer. Thank you to Only Dans. Nice. Caught another stream with Lord Haven, Hand of the Quinn. Thank you, Lord Baratheon. Should have just had Morning be a wild dragon. Lord Peasbury again. Do you think we'll see Aegon's split sausage? I hope not. That would be a,
I mean, surely you do hope, because that would contribute towards your bingo.
But I don't know if that would count, would it?
It depends how much is left.
I was going to say, we'd have to make an assessment. I assume it would be like point something. But yeah, and then thank you to Constantine James, who says we could have had the Staunton men be like the brave companions, which would have been a cool parallel.
Ooh, yeah, a bit
right?
more, bit of a sort of wild ragtag group of psychos.
Yeah. I wish we'd gotten the brave companions.
That someone riding the Zorses? Yeah. We didn't even need the Zorses, but just having like an eclectic group of foreign mercenaries, it just would have been really cool.
That's it. I do like Locke as a character in the show. He's just not as cool.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
I like the slide you've made for this scene.
Oh, I might actually readjust it just for the stream. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that. It's all good.
It's all good. It all fits.
It's all good. I'm still mad that you assumed someone who super chatted a milk emoji is one of my patrons.
It's something that tends to happen on your streams, not mine. I have
weird fans. I don't know why. Yes,
anyway, I enjoyed this look at Rhaenyra after this meeting with Alicent. She's so like giddy. It's weird to see.
She's hype. Yeah. While watching this, I have to bear in mind. Okay, this is episode 9 of season 2. Season 2, Rhaenyra's arc is dull. She spends the whole time moaning about how her council won't let her do anything. But that's because her council just literally know better than her about martial affairs. And then when they suggest that she should do stuff, she goes, "No, I can't do that because the people will die." And then it's just this weird cycle, and she's just spinning wheels, and it's incredibly boring. And you could say, okay, maybe it's building up to that she's trying to avoid excess bloodshed. She's trying to avoid things spiraling out of control, and then it's the gullet that makes her go, "Okay, no. We are pushing onwards," and affects that change. But I'm waiting for Rhaenyra to snap out of her funk and be interesting again, because she just isn't in season 2, honestly. And
honestly, I think that could apply to a fair few characters in season 2, and
missing the culmination of their arcs.
Yeah, and in fairness, I also think that's kind of a flaw of the source material as well. Fire and Blood doesn't really have characters, let alone main characters, and that results in a bunch of them doing nothing for massive swaths of the war.
Yeah, that's true. There are
Daemon and Harrenhal too.
The big characters just vanish, and it's like, okay, well, you have to do something with them. But I would have preferred something more interesting than Rhaenyra complaining about. Because if you I rewatched season 2, and like almost everything her counselors tell her are like, they're in the right like all the time. Like they're always they're always like basically giving good advice, and she just gets mad at them.
Yeah. It's also to an extent like the respect elicited in that advice, I think, is oftentimes lacking.
Yes,
especially from Celtigar, but
yes, they're being chauvinistic in the way that they treat her. But I think it's one of those things where it's hard to tell what the writer's intentions are.
Yeah.
Where in on the where just watching it as a viewer, my instinct is it feels like Rhaenyra and Aegon are both being portrayed as people ironically unfit to rule, even though they're the two main claimants. Like Rhaenyra just seems to not. She doesn't seem to have a cool head during times of war. She doesn't like taking advice. She can act in ways that are sometimes a bit petty almost. And that's interesting for her character, kind of a claimant who's gradually unraveling and being out of her depth as the war unfolds. But I get the impression that the writers aren't going for that. They're going for she's in the right, and all these men keep talking down to her and all this. And I'm like, I feel like she's the show's sort of showing her as being unfit basically to rule, and trusting Alicent and all this stuff. But I feel like the writers aren't intending that. So there's this weird sort of like tension between what the writers are intending and what's actually coming across, to me at least personally. What do you think?
I feel like that's very valid in terms of the season 2 arc. In the season 3, I'm not sure. The way that Rhaenyra is being portrayed here, and the way I think she's going to be portrayed going forward, I think they are leading into a much more flawed and like incorrect version of the character, which I am excited to see. But I do think that they do, not really know what to do with her in a lot of instances. I just keep feeling like she lacks agency, and I think we'll get to that later on in another scene, but.
Yeah, the word agency can be used so much when talking about characters in this show.
But
yeah.
Speaking of,
we talk about it later.
This scene generally, I really liked Rhaenyra's acting here. I feel like her and Jace both have a scene this episode where they are almost like manic, and they do it in a very similar way, and they're very realistically mother and son, I feel like, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's almost not worth mentioning. Oh, this fantastic actor or actress is incredible, and then you're like, wait, no, it is actually worth saying that about these actors in the show, because Emma Darcy is like one of the highlights acting wise. And Jace, it's cool that Jace had such a strong performance in his final episode.
A strong performance,
and that's not even
you say.
Very strong.
This strong boy.
This strong boy had a strong performance.
Yeah.
Not as strong as Barty, though.
That is true. Crabs in the chat, folks.
Crabs in the chat. Bartimos is back.
How much Bartimos do we think we get this season? I think not much.
Well, I'm concerned because there's that one actor playing a character who hasn't been revealed yet in the show who talked about, being in charge of economic stuff. And I was like, but I want Barty to be in charge of economics. I want Barty to be Rhaenyra's Master of Coin, because he hasn't been given an official title at this council. Yeah. But yeah, so maybe he'll be. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it in spoilers. But I hope he comes back, because it's cool. It's cool for her to feel like she has like an active, thriving council. Because we've already lost Lord Staunton.
And what's his name's at Harrenhal still?
Alfred Broom.
That's it.
Is at Harrenhal, and Lord Massey has just kind of vanished. So I don't know if he was meant to have died when Aemond burned down. Well. What did he burn down? Did he burn down Sharp Point, or did he burn down?
I forgot about that whole can of worms. Going into season 3, I do think that Rhaenyra's council is set up to have a much more interesting dynamic, especially with like Daemon and Rhaenyra returning, or not Rhaenyra, Mysaria, sorry, and Corlys's hand. Obviously, I think that's.
Oh my God, Corlys is. Do you reckon Corlys will do anything as hand this season?
I mean, if this episode is any indication, we're gonna get a lot of Corlys.
When we get to Corlys, I will be singing praises. You have no idea.
I'm so excited and so happy.
I'm on the Corlys hype train.
I've been on it.
I'm back. I'm back.
But then moving from Dragonstone to the Riverlands with our only Daemon scene this episode, though we don't have a picture of him. We just have a picture of this new character who comes on the scene. Roddy, I assume you think ruined based on his accent.
We don't need to talk about this, bro. We don't need to. Roddy the Ruin is played by a Scottish actor, and despite
I've never heard you more defeated.
my daily affirmations in the mirror every morning when I wake up. He does not have a Scottish accent. He has a Northern English accent, as most characters in the North of Westeros do, which is consistent with the lore for the most part, with the canon of the show. But it is very disappointing because I wanted him to be Rode the Rune. You know what I mean? I wanted Scottish Roddy, and we didn't get it. So it's over. I don't even know if I'm going to watch from now on.
That's fair. I really liked seeing Damon's dynamic with Oscar again. I think Oscar was one of my favorite new characters last season. I think they'd done a good job with him. I'm still a little disappointed we didn't get like the full Muppet Tullies, but I'm happy with what we did get. I
will defend Ryan Condal all the way for purging the Muppet Tullies. He is my hero. He is my hero.
My only criticism of this scene, really, other than your accent shenanigans, is that it's just Stark banners. Like, everybody I've seen online who's not, like, as engaged with the community as, like, we are, has said that this guy's a Stark, which he's a Dustin. He's not. He has the little sigil on his...
he's got
his clip, but it's not very big, and it's all Stark banners, so... I don't know. Especially with no Starks here, I feel like it's giving them too much credit.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, the show's been incredible, as you've said, with the armies.
Especially the Riverlands, like comparing them.
Yes, you have the Bracken sigils and the Vance and
like the Pipers
and Frey, Piper. It's incredible. And then you just have a bunch of Starks, because remember the Starks from Game of Thrones, everyone? You could have had a little Dustin sigil in there behind him.
Yeah. And there are so many cool northern sigils, too. Like, imagine if we saw a Bolton, like a full pink
I know, right? A Bolton? Let's go. But yes, I think it's a good introduction to the character. He looks badass. The actor's great. We were saying before the stream started that neither of us actually liked his delivery of that line.
It was a weird delivery of a very iconic line.
The intonation was off. He should have said, "We have come to die for the Dragon Queen."
Also, he took like a weird pause in the middle. IMO.
He did. He goes, "We have come to die for the Dragon Queen."
Yeah.
He's almost like asking it like a question.
Yeah. I will also say, in the aftermath of this episode, like the day after, my dad did call me a bit confused that the Lannister guy supposedly died twice.
It's a bad day to be a Lannister.
Yeah. Because Jason and Tyland, obviously identical twins. We did get a cut character here and cut scene with Pate the Lion Slayer not getting his moment in the sun.
Oh, there's still time. No, there's not. Yeah. So for those who don't know, the battle in which Lord Jason Lannister dies is called the Battle of the Red Fork. I don't know if that's what this is meant to have been.
I think it is.
The aftermath of the Red Fork. Yeah.
Red Fork Jason leading Lannister, into Fish Feed.
He is slain by a common. What is he? Is he a squire?
He's a squire. Very old squire.
A common squire called Pate of Longleaf, who basically shanks Jason with a spear or something, and Jason dies, and he's like, "Oh, he's the Lion Slayer," and this guy's like, "Oh shit, I killed a Lannister." That being said, and while off-screen deaths are always disappointing, I don't mind it in this episode. Yeah. I think it's a cool reveal for the Winter Wolves. Maybe we needed one scene earlier that just showed like Jason Lannister and the rest of his army, or some of the army kind of fleeing, just so we can remind ourselves, oh, there's Lord Lannister, and then I don't know, because the show never did a great job of really distinguishing the Lannister twins. Like there was never.
We only saw them together once.
Yeah, I feel like they really should have emphasized there are two Lannisters, they're identical twins. One is the Lord, one is on the council. Because I can easily see people being like, wait, why is he still alive? How did? But the head looked good, by the way. Like that was a great prop,
and it wasn't George Bush.
It wasn't George Bush in a wig. It was. It was.
That awesome. Is still that's so funny to me. For those who don't know, Game of Thrones season 1 got in a little bit of trouble because when Joffrey takes Sansa to like look at the heads on pikes outside the Red Keep, one of the heads next to Ned's is identical to former President George W. Bush. And they like have had to crop the scene since to exclude it because they got, a lot of backlash. But we did see some literal lion slayers, unfortunately. We saw some lions getting their heads cut off.
It does make you wonder if the episode 9 of last season was meant to be Battle of the Gullet and episode 2 is meant to be the aftermath of the Battle of the Gullet. Do we think that the premiere of season 3 originally would have been a slightly more extended version of this battle, because
Maybe
introducing the lions last season in the cages and then being like, "What's the payoff? They died in battle. We died in they died in a battle we didn't see." It's like, oh, that feels a bit.
my
Feels like
condolences, Lions. You died in the battle. No spoilers.
no spoilers.
But I see what you mean. I do think that would be different, at least in a few ways. I think if that happened, there would have been maybe a Longleaf the Lion Slayer, because Damon wouldn't be there. Damon would be off doing other things that he's going to be doing next episode.
True. Yeah, we may have got some, but at the same time, having Damon present in this battle, which he isn't in the books, of course. Is it just to keep the audience more engaged with, here's a character we know? Because would we be interested in just like Oscar Tully and Roderick Dustin?
I would be.
Oh, we would be.
I
don't know
know
if casuals would be. They need someone there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was again, this show's very good at showing the aftermath of battles. Like, the battlefield looked great. I did like the discussion between Oscar and Damon, and Roddy had a great entrance.
It was thematically, I like that. I mean, we haven't actually seen a battle in the Riverlands in this show yet. We've just continually seen the aftermath of battles in the Riverlands with, like, the Burning Mill and now this. And that is so what the Riverlands are. Like, that's what Martin does with the Riverlands, and I really like it.
And it's definitely intentional. It's not budgetary at all. It's a metaphor for how the Riverlands are the Poland of Westeros, always being invaded, always being burnt down, and they're just an afterthought to those on the Iron Throne, just as the battles are an afterthought in the show. It's intentional.
But moving to another area of the Riverlands, we have Gwaine and Kristen. Did you see the interview with Kristen's actor, whose name escapes me?
Fabian Frankel.
Fabian Frankel.
Yes.
That was so funny.
I will say, so while I think his frustration came from a genuine place, I also think he was being a bit dry. And I think some people...
he was very clearly not fully serious.
Yeah, I feel like, not to throw shade here, but I feel like maybe some Americans didn't quite pick up on the more sort of sarcastic tone.
That's an us problem.
And, oh, that's all I'm saying. He's got a British sense of humor. But yeah, no, I think I do suspect the actor is quite annoyed at.
For those who didn't see it, it was Frankel effectively saying, like, "Oh, Condal won't rest until my career is ruined," and Kristen is unsympathetic as possible.
No moments of humanization allowed. Everything that's there is cut.
But I do think that Kristen and his arc, this is obviously very much following up on his arc from season 2, him very much becoming incredibly nihilistic in the aftermath of Rook's Rest and seeing the dragon destruction. That was one of my favorite arcs in season 2. I think it was incredibly compelling and really realistic to how Martin writes. I could see that being like how someone like Jaime in the books would interact with the world after seeing Daenerys' dragons in action. And I do think it was a very excellent arc as it was, and I do think this is an interesting continuation of it. Obviously, just one little scene, but I do continue to like the dynamic between him and Gwaine, and I do think they'll do interesting things with it, because they are obviously so different. Like, obviously, Gwaine here saying, we need to stick to our principles, and if we don't have that, what do we have? And Kristen just kind of being like, oh, it's all for naught in the wake of these dragons. It's a really interesting dichotomy, and I'm excited to see more of it.
They've certainly taken Kristen in an interesting direction, but it remains to be seen where his arc goes, because right now I find him to be a fundamentally confused character. And I don't mean he's confused, I mean it feels like the writers don't quite know what to do with him. Like, there are so many aspects to who he is, and it's hard to keep track of. And I almost feel like the actors are a bit confused too, because he's like, there's a message I sent on my Discord. I'll try and find it, where I just sort of, it kind of summarizes my issues with Kristen. But yes,
my
I do.
On Kristen really solidified and crystallized the rewatch I just did, as of like a couple weeks ago to get ready for season 3. I think that Kristen is actually quite consistent through the show, and I think if you view it as everything he does after season 1, episode 5, where Alicent finds him at the Godswood ready to, end things, as him just kind of dealing with that fact and almost trying to get back to that point. It all kind of comes into focus. Him just being someone who has no regard for his own life, just kind of, cutting his way through the world like a blade. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the message. I sent a message that kind of summarized my thoughts on Chris. I can't quite find it now, unfortunately. I'll look for it in the background. Okay. But yes, yeah, I did a rewatch as well, and
my rewatch was better than your rewatch. I
like the actor, and there are parts of the characters I really like, especially in episode 2 of season 2, where he sort of goes full kind of a narcissist and just crashes out over his failure, and it projects onto Arik Cargill, and I do think it's interesting that it's like, okay, where do we go with this character, and like let's have him become this kind of black-pilled nihilist who's kind of given up on everything. He's like, what does honor even mean? What even is life? I thought I cared about honor, but I've sullied my own honor. And
what's the line? It's so good. Is it like, what is honor but like a mist that melts in the morning sun,
melts in the morning, in the dawn, or something like that.
Which also, he did kind of steal Alicent's shit there, where she said the same thing effectively, but she called it a moth that fled at morning.
Yes, see, this is my issue. He becomes like a poet. He wasn't a poet before. In season 1, he's like a dashing, handsome, gallant knight, but then he kind of snaps and becomes a bit of a psycho, like someone who gets rejected on Tinder. But then he kind of has this like kind of bodyguard thug thing going on, protecting Alicent, but then he's a bit of a simp for her, but then he's like really cares about his honor, but then he also betrays his honor, and then he's a bit of a vulnerable narcissist, but then he's also regrets what he's doing.
A very complicated
gets
guy.
PTSD. No, I love complicated characters and I love hypocritical characters, but Kristen, it doesn't feel like Kristen is not crystallizing to me in that way.
Oh, bars.
It's not coming together for me. It feels too fractured. It feels like it's not quite.
I think we need to see the end.
He just feels like multiple characters in one, and it doesn't work for me.
I think it's worked for me so far, and I do think it'll come into clearer focus whenever we get the end of his arc.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of resolving judgment, because it could. But But for now, I'm interested to see where he goes. And Quinn is a great supplementary character. They bounce off each other really well. Freddie Fox is a fantastic actor, and
I think he might be my favorite new character from season 2. Other than, actually, never mind. I forgot about the Dragon Seeds and Alan.
Yeah, no, he is great. And every time I look at him, I'm like, he's great, but like he's way too young to have been at the jousting in episode 1 of season 1. But then I remember the actor is in his late 30s somehow,
which is nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah. But we've got our scene up next. You and me were in the show for, last season and this season.
What, huh?
You being Ulf, me being Hugh.
Oh, of course. Oh, I thought you were going deeper. That I was like, you calling me like a green man? Like, what are you doing?
That too, yes. I'm Alice and you're the green man.
Are you calling yourself a goat? The goat who interrupts Ulf?
Yes, correct. I'm Vargo Hote.
But no, yes. We have decided that you are basically Hugh and I'm Ulf. I
think it fits.
This was a nice.
I really loved it. This was one of my favorite scenes of the episode.
I like to see them interacting and bonding. I like to see some more characterization. I mean, Ulf was already a fun bloke, Brexit geezer down Weatherspoons. You can have a nice chat to him. He'll probably make a couple of racist jokes now and there that you'll feel a bit uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, he's probably a decent bloke. He's that kind of guy. Everyone knows Ulf, especially if you're in Britain. You've met an Ulf.
I think you maybe know more Ulfs than I do.
Yeah, but yeah, no. What did you think about the kind of the reveal? I guess the sort of backstory reveal that he's been lying the whole time about. Oh, my mother said that she slept with Balon the Brave, and I'm his son. It's like, no, he didn't know his mother. He was told by a red priest, because he says a red C word, right? I don't want to get your stream demonetized.
I appreciate
he says
that.
Basically implies a red priest in some way paid him to do something or other, and told him it's because he has king's blood. And I feel like that can be interpreted in a couple of ways. So
Yeah,
What did you think?
I really liked it. I think it very much adds depth to the character, and him like owning that is very realistic. I feel like, and it's a layer of dimension because he's obviously someone who has so much bluster to him, but this is kind of what's behind it. And I also think it influences my view of certain events in the main series a little bit as well, in terms of like, obviously you hear that backstory, you think of Varys because that's very similar to what he tells Tyrion. And obviously there are a number of theories that Varys, to some degree, has King's blood, and I think this does, steer me a little bit further in that direction in terms of believing that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed seeing the dynamics form between the dragon seeds, because I think it is something that is very important to, the show going forward, and we didn't see much between them last season, because, them claiming dragons happened so late. And I liked that Adam was very much kind of the straight man here, and like Hugh is obviously, more stoic and serious, but you can tell he kind of indulges Ulf a little bit and finds him funny, whereas Adam's just kind of sick of his shit. But yeah, I really loved it, and I hope to see more.
Both, while Adam is definitely more relaxed and carefree than his brother Alan, they both share a sort of groundedness and seriousness that probably arises from, insecurities about their upbringing. So there's an interesting link between the two brothers. But I do want to see more of Adam, because I think so far he's the least interesting dragon seed. Because Ulf is such an over-the-top character.
I wouldn't say least interesting, but I would say he's the one we've gotten the least from.
Yeah, well, same thing.
Yeah. We also got a dunk scene. I'm surprised you didn't use that screenshot.
I beg your pardon. Oh, of course. Yes. We had
did not generate the same level of controversy as that one.
Well, how could it? A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms cucked it, basically. Stole its thunder.
True.
It stole its thunderous shit.
I also think it does make it, feels more appropriate for Ulf White to be doing that rather than like, Dunk, the main character of his show.
I do like the comedy of this scene where he's freaked out by this creepy, because they're on the Isle of Faces, right? They're literally.
No, they're not actually.
Are they not?
I got corrected by Glidus on Twitter, and he's absolutely right about it.
Go on.
They're on like one of the southern inlets, like facing the lake shore, but they're not on the Isle of Faces itself.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
you can tell like the wider shots, the angle of the lake and the trees.
I mean, it would be quite an unceremonious...
like introduction to the Isle of Faces.
Yeah,
these guys are just sitting there.
Just Ulf shitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I liked Ulf being freaked out by the black goat, which we saw previously in Harrenhal in the previous season. By the green man, by the way, just a green man chilling there.
I wasn't huge on, honestly.
Because it was almost played as like part of... It was almost a bit... In season 2, it was kind of creepy. And it was blink and you missed it, right? And here it was almost like adding to the overall, almost like joke of Ulf being creeped out.
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't see it actually.
No, it was Adam.
I didn't. I guess yeah. But why didn't you like it?
It felt like strange to show something that directly that has been not really shown in the books, and like I don't know, they are very mysterious, and it felt like kind of strange in that light.
And then Alice pops out.
Yeah,
I do think it's
just like two lines.
A great line. Just being like, "Yeah, I'm a witch," and Ulf is like, "Yeah, no, I'm good. My only criticism is that, and it happens a few times in this episode, is that like a scene cuts just like a few seconds too early, just a bit too like I needed a few more seconds after the punchline of Ulf being like, "Okay, I'm out. Fuck this, bye." It cut too quickly, and it almost like slightly stifled the humor of the scene. I just thought that the editing was a bit dodgy there, but I kind of want to go back a little bit if you don't mind, just because someone in the chat was saying that Ulf's backstory is just ripping off Varys, and I think it's obviously somewhat inspired by Varys, but I think people have like misinterpreted what's going on there, without getting into grisly details, because YouTube doesn't like.
Yes, I agree. I think that was very much
apparently
subtextually present in the scene.
Yeah, but like to clarify, it is not. I don't think it's meant to be a Varys situation, because that doesn't link up with other things Ulf says. I think it's meant to be. I think
Ulf is not a eunuch.
No, it's a different implication. That's also quite tragic, but it's not a Varys situation. Yeah, it's deliberately ambiguous, but I think it speaks to, yeah, like a sort of a tragedy that, like you said, he kind of masks under this over the top drunk guy down the pub persona, and there's such an obvious insecurity he has in terms of demanding, being like, oh no, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a castle, and now that I've got a dragon, the ladies will love me and all this stuff.
What do I need a horse for?
What do I need a horse for? I got a dragon. Oh, we do need to address before we move on. The landed
the
knight
landed knight, or the caption. Do you
outrageous.
want to? I'm going to step away for 1 second if you want to address this.
Why, thank you. Because, of course, I have not spoken enough in this live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, you have lords and you have landed knights, you have household knights, you have hedge knights. If you are knighted, you are given the title, and with that comes sort of obligations, right? Chivalrous obligations. But if you're a landed knight, you are knighted and granted a plot of land. You are granted a keep, a fort, maybe even a full-blown castle of some sort, and you become nobility. You have your own house. You can be raised as a landed knight. You could be descended from landed knight and inherit it. But Rhaenyra could easily say, "You are all knighted, and I'm going to give you forts and plots of land." So Ulf is correct in saying I should get land for being a knight, and in the show they're kind of simplifying it as, no, a knight is just a title, and it's a lord who gets a castle. But yeah, maybe they could have adjusted it slightly, where he could be like, I'm gonna get a massive castle, and they look at each other and they're like, if Rhaenyra grants us land, it'll probably just be a small fort somewhere. He's like, small fort? I got a big fucking dragon. I want a huge castle,
I do now.
This stuff matters. Quinn, I'm angry.
Oh, why?
3 out of 10.
Oh, because
of the kind of the landed knight thing.
Oh, of course. I do think that just makes sense that they might not, know that is an option, considering their backgrounds. But, yeah, let's see what's next. I completely forget the order of these slides. So, oh yes, Corlys and Alan's scene.
Yes, I wanted this to be a separate slide we talked about.
Yes, I agree.
Before we talk about the color itself. This is when Corlys regained his aura for me, even before the fighting.
Agree.
Because season 2,
this scene ruled.
Yeah, season 2, he's boring. He's not given anything to do. Even when he becomes Hand, he just doesn't do anything. He scolds the council, then disappears. Yeah. He's glued to the docks. He keeps sadly staring into space. And it's also in this one scene, he regained all the aura he lost in season 2.
Because season 1, Corlys was my favorite character. He was the coolest guy on the planet, and he just didn't have anything to do for all of season 2. And he is back. This is so
back, baby.
Having a drink from Ib, that's just enough on its own, I feel like.
And the way the almost zesty way he plucks the fucking cap off, whoops, I've already broken the wax. I was like, ooh, Corlys is back. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Glidus and All Shift X talking about the trailer on Nebula, by the way. I finally got myself a Nebula, yeah. I'm not being sponsored by them, unfortunately, but I'm just throwing that out there. And they said that Corlys in season 2 does not feel like a captain who went on 9 great voyages. No. And I watched this scene, and something about his demeanor, the way he was holding himself, the kind of weathered expression on his face, the confidence. I was like, this feels like a captain. This feels like someone who's been on 9 great voyages. This seems like someone who has loved and lost.
I loved the conversation with Alan, too, just in, them talking more candidly about Alan's past and about the way Corlys felt about his mother, because, he did have 2 kids with her. Alan and Adam are full brothers, and it is this, rift that needs to be healed between the 2 of them, and I do think this scene obviously doesn't heal it, but it goes a long way to solidifying the bond between these 2. And I do think it pays off really well as well, with him yelling father when Corlys goes in the water. That got me a little bit. That was one of my favorite moments of the battle.
And again, it's one of those things that would have been awesome in episode 9, right after the episode where Alan basically snaps at his father saying, am I supposed to be grateful that you're coming back to me and making me first mate and hanging out with me more now that your own children are dead and you're finally giving me attention? Yeah. And this is a great kind of continuation of that, where Corlys kind of, admittedly kind of in a slightly frosty way, admits his mistakes.
Yeah.
And then him and Alan kind of bond over, well, essentially sailing and fighting, to the point where, that connection the connection becomes stronger, and like you said, Alan's like father, and later like tries to get revenge and goes up against Shrako.
And I gotta say, this is not just a scene that is providing aura for Corlys, or in an episode in its totality as well. Alan, I think, has gained a lot this episode too. Like, Alan,
I mean, he was
rules.
Yeah, he was always
great.
Cool.
But like, this is our first time seeing him in action.
Yeah, let's go.
Like,
Let's go.
Dude is a tank. I am excited to see more of him.
He's so wide.
I know.
And I'm not saying he's fat. I'm saying he's wide. He looks
He's
like
broad.
Wide Putin. He's a broad man.
Yeah.
Stocky. He's the definition of stocky.
Yeah. It's such a cool thing to see. And I do think that, like, Corlys is one of these characters that it does very much pay off to do them well. I think that out of everybody in the Dance of the Dragons, through this entire era, Corlys is the one who is the most consistently important and the most consistently has agency. And I think that he is very important to do well. And Season 2 didn't, and I think it was very much felt. But we're back.
We've never been more
We've never been more back than we are right now.
Oh, finally. We just need this from Rhaenyra now. We need Rhaenyra.
I think we are getting there. I think we will get to that point with Rhaenyra.
Yeah. I think it's impossible for Alicent to regain aura, but...
we didn't really talk about that. I don't know if... Do we have a slide for the Alicent stuff this episode?
We do.
Okay, we'll get there then.
Yeah.
I have some positive thoughts about Alicent this episode. Not entirely positive, but more positive than I had been in the past. But first, we have the introduction of a new Hightower, the one and only Ormond, who had 2 minutes of screen time, and I loved every second of them.
This is one of those scenes where it's only 2 minutes long, by the way. This whole section is 2 minutes in an hour-long episode. When the episode was over, I just rewatched this scene on YouTube. I don't know why, but I just love
it gripped me fully.
Being introduced, new characters being introduced. I loved the acting. I loved the armor. I loved conceptually where this plot line might go, and I was just like, it's like a shot of adrenaline being put into the show. Like, here's something new.
It's like a smelling salts of sorts.
You could say that.
One could say.
Can I just defend my boy Ormond? I don't think he's sniffing glue.
No, obviously.
I think he has a smell sensitivity, as the actor James Norton said, and I think he's a bit of a prissy poncy noble, and he's like, oh yes, only the finest smells. I can't deal with these peasants riding in the mud, and I think it's a fun little character quirk for him to have. But some people have interpreted it as like he's getting high.
Yeah,
he's just sniffing, which is very funny. But no, it's oh god, where do we begin?
He just had such a presence to him, and like, I feel like he didn't have that many lines, but what he is so well communicated. I feel like he very clearly didn't super care that Aegon seemed to be dead and that Aemond is the new king.
He didn't give a fuck.
Also, we got to talk about Bold John Roxton here.
Yes, let's go. In fact,
obviously, actor from Andor does an excellent job here as well. I'm excited to see more of him. But him being like that bodyguard presence, stopping him in his tracks, is really, really cool. Also, I love the armor of both of these guys.
That's so good. I like the Roxton sigil on the gorget, and he's got the sword over the back, which is always kind of goofy because that's not how swords work. How do you draw them when they're on your back? But Orphan Maker.
That's what squires are for.
That's a good point. We
do probably have two new Valyrian steel swords here, though one of them no attention was drawn to it as well, that being Vigilance, which is assumedly on Ormond.
I have an animated video going through all of the Valyrian steel weapons. If anyone... I'm talking to the audience, not to you. I'm trying to shill. Let me shill. Let me plug myself. God damn. But yeah, no, the armor's incredible. You're right. And again, all the characters, these two characters have been like... We know their personalities already. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And so you're talking about the armor. Wait, let me just move this picture. The Hightower armor, the Hightower engraving, and like it's like the seven gods are on there as well. Or
are they really?
Of them. On the left and right of the Hightower.
This might be the best armor we've seen in any of the shows.
Let me find a better picture and post it, because I'm pretty sure it's like the mother and the warrior or something are like. Okay, here's an official promo pic. It's not from this episode, but
spoilers.
If you can see, this isn't a great picture actually. This isn't as
Oh,
high
you're
quality as it could be.
right. Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
looks like kind of like you know, medieval style drawings, kind of like a painted glass, right?
Yeah.
Of I think it's meant to be like the mother and then the warrior.
My thought was the crone
potentially.
was on the one side.
Oh, it might be the crone. And I don't know if it's just two, or if it's meant, or the idea is that it's meant to be all the way around his armor, or maybe he's just picked the two that mean the most to him. But again, coming from the high towers, you know, the seat of Old Town, academia, trade, knowledge, and faith. That's where the Starry Sept is. That's where the High Septon lives as of this point in the timeline. So, you know, they are the uber religious house, and it's cool just that he's got the faith iconography on his armor. It's so cool. Oh,
He's
beautiful.
Honestly, I must say, with the tragic passing of Jace, I think someone has arrived to pick up the mewing torch based on these images.
We have a new Mewer in town. I mean, you could argue we have two Mewers, because I think both of the figures on screen are kind of mewing in their own way.
I would agree that, you know, random blurry squire who we won't address.
Random ass squire who is going on to play Link.
Link, he's going to play this random squire. He's going to be Link.
He's gonna be Link, but like I love the actors just like trying to he's trying to mog so hard in the background, even out of focus, and it's like he's doing a good job, but I think Ormond has him beat.
Oh yeah,
Ormond's chin is just a little bit.
Imagine if instead of getting the guy who played Link to play that role, it was the guy who played Mario.
Incredible.
Be great. I think that's my ideal casting for whatever that role is. Random Squire number 2.
Random Squire number 2. It's cool to have side characters and extras.
Yeah.
Make the world feel fleshed out.
And hey, this will be good for my inevitable Ormond Hightower's John Connington video once that happens.
I will veto that.
Stay tuned.
You know what's annoying? That the idea I actually really like. I actually really like it.
I know, right?
I really want to watch that video. But yeah, no, great scene. Oh, and just to quickly say what happens in the scene, because we're simping over the actors' jawlines and armor, which is
yeah, we've been exceptionally surface level on that scene.
Yeah, we've not been analyzing that.
We are so superficial.
He gets a letter that's written by Alicent, and she's pretending it's from Aemond, saying, Aemond is now the king, and I'm heading off. Aemond is heading off to Harrenhal, so you stay here for 3 days. Why is Alicent telling them this? Is she just trying to delay them so that
I think so.
Rhaenyra can take
that was my read
as
of
part of the deal? And in the future, potentially, when we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yes, could you move the text that's cut off on the side?
Oh, my apologies.
Aemond
Aemondipus. There we go.
So this scene has gotten a lot of press. I will say, I did have a positive Alicent thing to say, and I will say it. I liked that she was more actively scheming and manipulating people throughout this episode. It felt like she didn't really do that in Season 2, and she is very clearly kind of working an angle with Aemond here and trying to, get things in order for her plan to let Rhaenyra in, which I still think isn't great in terms of, an idea. But yeah, I liked Alicent more here than I had in the past.
I will concede that she's more interesting in this episode than she was in every single episode of Season 2. She's still boring. The only positive I can say about Alicent is Olivia Cook is incredible with what she's given.
This is
but
true.
I think Alicent died after episode 8 of Season 1. I think episode 8 she peaked. She had a fantastic arc. Episode 9 onwards just became a lame character. Could have been so much more. Could have been a fascinating schemer and sympathetic villainess, and instead just turned into a boring character with little agency, as a way of the writers going, haha, no agency for women in medieval politics, even though she does have that agency in Fire and Blood, and it would have made her arc more interesting, and it would have made her downfall in Season 2 in terms of like the council rejecting her that much more biting if she actually had some power beforehand. But she didn't, because they just I've talked about Alicent enough.
I did.
Rhaenyra's arc can be redeemed. I don't think Alicent's arc can be redeemed. I think she is just permanently uninteresting.
I would agree that it would be difficult for Alicent to come back into a point where I'd find the character as compelling as I once did. I still think the main thing that like sunk her was her misinterpretation of Viserys' final words. And that being
Yes.
like her justification for putting Aegon on the throne. I think it was
Yes.
kind of a lazy half measure by Condell and the team to keep Alicent on side with the Greens. I think it would have been way more interesting for her to either be closer to Book Alicent, fully supporting the Greens and installing Aegon, or more actively opposing it, as we see now. But having that be kind of a mistaken thing down the middle path as her motivation is just kind of, weird, and it just created this weird vibe on the Green Council that I think was, bad for a couple of other reasons. I think worse than that was Westerling's presence there. But yeah,
no, I think everything in the Green Council scene sucks. Like, it would be hard for me to rank it into, but yeah, I think her not being involved in the conspiracy is just so absurd.
Especially considering, obviously she and Rhaenyra had that heart-to-heart in episode 8, and they, reconciled a bit, obviously got into a better place, but Alicent was all in favor of Aegon being king for the, decade prior to that, and it doesn't make sense to me that she wouldn't be involved in those schemes when she was helping Otto spearhead the Vaemond thing with Lord of the Tides.
It's such a cop-out. It's like a kind of lazy cop-out to be like, oh, misinterpretation, instead of her being like, damn, I just reconciled with Rhaenyra, but now Viserys is dead, and what do I do?
Yeah, I've laid these plans in motion. What am I going to do? That could have been so interesting.
It could have been. And by the way, when I said perfect arc from episode 1 to 8, that's not true. I don't like how after the time skip, she's basically like, I have no friends at court, and she has to wait for Daddy to come back to basically build up the Green faction. That's lame. She should have been building up the Green faction for 10 years. She's always been a super flawed character in terms of the writing flawed, not in terms of the character being flawed.
Yes.
But, at the very least, I can enjoy Olivia Cook just being a great actress.
She is truly excellent, especially in this scene. We haven't talked about the kiss yet.
There was a kiss? I don't remember that.
Yes.
We can memory hold that.
I would agree.
Yes, the kiss. What are your thoughts on Aemond leaning in and giving his mom a little smooch?
He is a weirdo to the core, and a Daemon LARPer, and Daemon had that whole dream at Harrenhal last season, so I do think that, it makes sense for Aemon's character. Still just kind of bizarre.
I actually don't mind it. I don't mind it. I am a mother-son incest defender in this context.
Oh.
In this context. No, hear me out. No, I think the Daemon and his mum thing, I mean, again, if this was meant to happen last season, that's a phrase we keep saying, the parallels there are a bit more obvious, right? But yeah, no, I think it makes sense for Aemon's character. I think it makes sense for his character. He's been established as having mummy issues. We know that he visits the same older woman at the brothel. And, there's even a scene where I don't think everyone caught it even, but on my rewatch, when he's lying there with Sylvie, that's her name, right?
Yeah, can you please clip that?
You know what? I give it. You know what? Whatever. Screw you. Screw you, man. When he's curled up with the prostitute, there's a maid who comes over, and it looks like she's pouring hot milk into a glass to give him. A bit of a Homelander thing.
I was gonna say that's a bit far. No, it was moon tea, Haven.
Oh yeah, moon tea for Aemond. Mm-hmm. Sure, makes sense.
He just likes the taste, like Marjorie and Feast.
But there's definitely he's definitely got mummy issues, and we see throughout season 2 that
everybody in the show does. In fairness,
that's true. But Alicent, often sort of touching him and touching his face and trying to be closer with him because she's been such a distant mother, not the best mother, and he's kind of interpreting it differently, and he's kind of I don't know, because unfortunately, I had been spoiled that something like this would happen.
I had also been.
But the spoilers were stuff like, oh my god, Alicent kisses him back. And I was like, what?
What? I didn't hear that.
I heard that. It was people complaining, being like, oh, they're ruining Team Green type shit. And you watch it and you're like, no,
This is very in character for a very weird character.
Yes, this is in character for Aemond. Alicent doesn't kiss back. She's terrified, but she holds her place because she's like, let's just suffer through this because I've got him on my side. I've got him wrapped around my little finger.
And she needs him to leave King's Landing because otherwise everyone will die.
Go the fuck to Harrenhal, and so she has to But yeah, no, I didn't mind this scene. I yes,
Clearly.
you could make the argument, is it just kind of HBO shock value scene? Kinda, but I think it works, and it works way more than Damon having a vision about his mum. That was random.
I think that was. I agree that this is better established than Damon's by, I would say, a country mile.
Is this why George had the falling out? Because he explicitly only writes about sibling stuff.
That is a good point. Yeah, that
He's
might
like
be a
mother
line.
son. That's a step too.
I mean, Craster, but also like Craster's Craster, and very
that's a one-off
clearly
as
the
well.
worst.
That's a one-off.
Yeah. But then we get to Rhaenyra getting locked in her room. Sir Laurent Marbrand holding the door, according to Jace's command. I have mixed thoughts on this scene. The bottom of the text is cut off. If you could move that up a little bit.
I'll move that up for you. Quinn made this slide, by the way, everyone.
He did, because
Shout
this is,
Quinn.
I think, almost directly, almost word for word, a Cersei quote from A Dance with Dragons, which I find fun, and I love it. Elements of this I do think are interesting and could be good. Specifically, the conflict presented to Sir Marbrand, I think, is very Martin. Like, this conflict between, like, different interests of his oaths. That's very George, I feel like. And it is interesting to examine the Kingsguard in that way. But I do think the way the scene was set up isn't the greatest. Also, doesn't this room have two doors? Like, that's such a CinemaSins complaint.
Yeah,
but, like, we saw the other
that
door
was
get
in my head
used
too.
in last season when the whole Cargill Bowl was happening.
It's a bit of a nitpick, but like it was important to the Cargill scene. They go out their way to show him locking one door, then moving to the other and coming into that one. So like she could have gone through the other door. Yeah, I don't mind Jace locking her away. It makes sense for his character. You know, he's this impulsive young man, and all throughout season 2, he keeps being kind of low-key ignored by her. Not in a rude way, but in a kind of like... And even in this episode, he like touches his face like, "Oh, it's okay, son." And he's like, "No, I want to do something." And you're making stupid decisions constantly, like trusting Alicent, going to see Alicent, this and that, and like...
The things we do for
he's
love.
Like, "Let me take over. You're the queen. Let me take over." And then Laurent goes along with it. Yes, you can make some arguments.
Bran warged him.
Yes. No, I thought Bloodraven did it.
No, for hold the door?
Oh, no, Bloodraven warged Jace to go into battle, but Bran warged Laurent to hold the door. Yeah.
Gotcha. That is why Vermax got killed by a boar.
Not to spoil wins, of course.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, I do think... Yeah, what do I... It's one of those things where, like, I understand the concept of the scene, but it does feel, like, almost too easy. Like, Jace is like, one Kingsguard, lock the door and don't open it. And then the Kingsguard is like, "Well, I serve the queen, but I'm going to do it." And you can make the argument of he's being a bit chauvinist, I guess. But it's like, there's another door there, and what could Rhaenyra could not have screamed out the window? Is there not anyone else guarding that could see what's going on? I don't know. It's yeah, it makes sense for Jace's character, and Rhaenyra's sort of emotional response. It's like, yes, let's get some fieriness out of Rhaenyra, you know, like...
Yeah. I will say, underrated element of this episode I have not seen discussed, Mysaria was really funny the entire time. Like, her expressions in the background, just kind of, like, judging Rhaenyra for being so weird at points, I found really funny.
Why is Mysaria... Why was she there? Like, Rhaenyra's like, "I need to get my riding leathers," and she goes into her bedroom. Mysaria's just standing there, like, why are you in her bedroom?
I think it was to hopefully try to talk her out of it, maybe. At least would be my read on that. Or maybe Mysaria wanted to, like, catch her changing or something, but I don't know.
But yes, I do want to properly address the quote. Because, yes, as someone in the chat mentioned, it's straight from Elizabeth I's speech to her troops at Tilbury.
Yes.
I've got up the whole speech to dramatically read out. Not the whole speech, sorry, the section it's from. So Elizabeth I said, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too, and think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm," and then etc., etc. But yes, it's the context of the speeches are very different. Where one is Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, delivering this powerful speech to her troops, and here it's Rhaenyra sort of expressing, sort of talking to herself, just expressing frustration at how she's constantly being sidelined by her council and like locked up by her own son, and I think I saw some people kind of complaining the context shift makes Rhaenyra come across as, if it had been used in a more, in a scene where she's in a more powerful position, it's a bit more kind of badass, whereas it's almost kind of, it's a bit petulant.
I think that is kind of why
scene.
I compared it to Cersei rather than Elizabeth from the first, because it is also, Cersei says effectively the same thing or thinks the same thing in Dance, but it's also like while she is imprisoned by the High Sparrow. It's very much a play on an inversion of that quote from Elizabeth in a similar context to this one.
Yeah. I'm personally not a fan of it being there. I don't mind Rhaenyra having the sentiment because, so when I first heard it, it stood out to me as, oh, that's quite a good piece of dialogue, and it's the kind of thing a medieval noble woman would think. Like sometimes there are aspects of the show that feels very much like modern American writer writing about gender and sex in medieval times instead of characters presenting it as medieval characters, right? But this was one that stood out to me as, okay, I like this kind of whatever you would call it, internalized misogyny or whatever.
The context makes it a bit strange.
Yes, and then realizing that it's from Elizabeth I, I was like, oh yeah, that's it's a weird one-on-one. I feel like they could have just been inspired by that quote and changed it around slightly.
Yeah,
but it's clunky. It's clunky. The performance was good, but I think it was just clunky. Some people in the chat are saying clunky delivery. I thought the delivery was fine. I just think
the delivery was good.
It's a weird line to say in that context and make sound great.
And also, I think the weirder part of that scene to me was her, like, stabbing her dress a bunch. Like, I get it, it's like a symbol of femininity to an extent, but it felt like a bit much at that point, combined with the quote.
Yeah.
But moving on and into the battle for the first time. First off, we've talked a lot about armor in the Hightower scene. Love the Hand of the King, like, thing on Corlys's armor. But seeing the Sea Snake being an actual captain in an actual battle is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Finally.
Like, him steering the ship himself, like, holy shit. Like, really good.
A taste of what is to come in the animated Sea Snake show, which I'm suddenly slightly more excited for.
Same, genuinely. And I do think, like, the team behind it does seem like a good, like, group of creatives, and I would be very interested to see what that is. And, like, there's probably more story there than there would be, like, a show about E.T., but given the fact that we have, like, a page in the World of Ice and Fire on E.T. But really cool to actually see, like, a naval battle like this commence on screen. We really haven't seen a ton of that in the past.
Yeah, and it does kind of separate. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, I thought at like 3 separate points this episode, man, I really wish Victarion Greyjoy had been adapted.
Can you imagine?
Like, oh my god, dude! Like that would be exactly this times like 20. Maybe not times 20. Corlys is infinitely cooler than Victarion. Victarion's a loser, but he's funny and fun to watch.
You can separate this battle into 3 sections, basically. You have the sort of the ship-on-ship combat where they're firing on each other, not with ship cannons because there's no gunpowder, but they're launching things at each other via catapults. And then you have the chase sequence where Corlys is like,
hunt for Red October.
Yes, he's like, let's lure you away. I know Lohar's gonna chase me.
That was a reference my dad made to give him credit for that if he watches this stream.
Shout out Mr. Quinn.
Yeah.
Shout out Quinn the Elder. But yeah, lure them through the teeth, which I don't think that's in the books or the map. I think that's a show-only thing, right?
Yeah. But it makes sense. And it also, I would imagine, be too small to be on a map.
Yes, that's a good point. But yeah, lure them through to destroy them and be like, boom, we've now destroyed their flagship. We can mop up the rest. And of course, Corlys... And my friend was saying this to me as we watched it, that the implication here that Corlys is like, I can trust my fleet to continue the fight without me. That's how good of an admiral he is. They know what I'm doing. They can continue the fight. And it was just a really awesome sequence of him like navigating the ship. And I loved the naval language being used. I don't know how accurate any of it was, but it sounded fucking cool. I thought my only criticism, I'd say, of the naval stuff was some of the editing in the fight scenes, too many cuts.
Agree. I think also... In fairness, that came more later on after the chase sequence, like towards the very end of the fight, once Lohar's like on their ship and that like hand-to-hand fight was happening. There were way too many cuts, which is something I've not often said about fights in this world, I feel like. I feel like generally they do a pretty good job with choreography and things being one continuous shot. Obviously, that was like a main staple of Game of Thrones. I could see them trying to like emulate the fact that like, yeah, they're on ships. This is all chaos all around them. Everything is incredibly disjointed because it's like 20 little individual battles. Like a battle on land is going to be two armies facing off against one another, whereas on the sea, it's each individual ship is facing off against another individual ship, and they're going to be boarding each other, and there could be a number of other elements happening. But yeah, the editing here was an issue that I picked up on initially and felt a little worse about second time.
And I do want to bring up something I mentioned at the very start of the stream, which is that I thought this was a good battle. I liked it. Visually, it was awesome. There were characters involved that I cared about, etc., etc. But Ryan Condal, the showrunner, was saying, this is the biggest Game of Thrones battle. This is, like, he was selling this so much. And I was like, oh, let's go. And I watched it and I was like, yeah, that was very good. What fucking battle was he talking about? Because this does not hold a candle to Blackwater, Watchers on the Wall. Even the Long Night, it's a bad episode, but it's a bigger battle than this. Like, I understand.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd call that bigger, because it was just like one castle, and we also didn't really see much of it. I was gonna say Battle of the Bastards felt bigger than this.
No, that might be a better comparison.
Even if this was, I would also say that as a sequence, I have trouble determining whether I liked this or Rook's Rest better. I think it's this by a nose, but I also think that this had more issues than Rook's Rest did. One that I'll get to, I think my biggest issue with the battle, which I was going to address a little bit later, but I might as well just get to it now, because it also involves editing and pacing. I felt like the ending was weirdly structured. I feel like it was weird to have, like, there's the shot of Vermax getting a shot the second time and starting to go down, and Moondancer trying to rescue him and failing, and then Vermax hits the water, and then we cut back to Alan and Lohar fighting for like a minute and a half,
yes,
and then we go to Vermax and Jace's death. It felt like those two things should have been their own sequences, and intercutting them, I think, weakened both of them, because like, it's weird to have like a cut between Vermax hitting the water, and then 90 seconds later we're back and Vermax is like just now sinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to be boring and agree with you yet again. Bring back the era of 16 tons arguments. But no, I should have been the Lohar fight first, and then that conclusion.
Or even, I'd be okay with the reverse even as well, because like they end with the shots of the ships, and I'd be cool with like doing the Lohar fight and then ending with the shots to the ships, like after the dragon fight. But yeah.
I think what would have been peak would be the Lohar fight in its fullest, then Jace's death in its fullest, and then the little bit of Alan standing there,
I agree,
breathing heavily in the ships. But you know, I agree with you. Yeah, but to bring in something positive, I thought I really liked Draco Lohar this episode.
I agree. I've seen so many people critiquing the acting, which I did not think was bad this episode.
I thought it was bad last season.
I agree,
and I also think the character was borderline cringe last season, and I thought the acting was noticeably weak, and I was like, yikes. Oh, that was that was a bit camp of me. Don't know where that came from. But this episode, I was like, oh shit, this is, you know, I'm enjoying this character. I'm enjoying this performance. It's I
think the writing was a little weaker with Lohar.
What, compared to last season?
I mean, just compared to the episode.
I see.
Like in terms of pursuing Corlys and being that single-minded and throwing Tyland overboard.
It was a bit over the top, but I didn't mind it because they were kind of just, this is an over the top character. This is an eccentric character. I think they managed to sell that. You know, if every character acted and talked like her, I'd be like, this is lame. But I think that they got away with it being her specifically, because she was set up from the previous season as being a bit of a weirdo. So I didn't mind it. And I thought, especially delivering the naval terms, I was like, okay, I can see her as this eccentric captain, pirate.
The other thing I wanted...
It's working for me.
Yeah. Something I loved involving that side of the battle, the method of bringing the dragons down, those anchors, coolest thing I've ever seen. Like,
really cool.
Such a cool idea. And I was worried. I had this worried months ago, and I forgot about it until I was watching the episode. I was really worried that Vermax's death would just be a repeat or close to a repeat, so like people would think it was a repeat of Rhaegal's death, just getting like, no-scoped by Euron out of nowhere and it being stupid, like via a scorpion bolt. But this is such an inventive idea. Because like if a dragon hits the water, they're dead. They can't take off again.
Yeah, they just drown.
Yeah. It's ingenious, and I love it, and it's fantastic. And it's better than the ideas in the book, in my opinion, for Jace's death.
That's true, though it is, Vermax, like, crashing into some rigging for the extra chaos could have been quite cool. But, it's the nature, the fact that the dragon doesn't die then fall, he's dragged down, it makes it all the more of a gut punch. Because obviously the dragons are cool, but when they're dying, there's something within my brain about, wanting to defend animals that kicks in. I felt so bad. Watching Vermax, like, struggling and, like, bleeding out and, like,
that made me feel more than Jace dying, if I'm being honest.
It did. And I think a big part of that is just the show's not great at characterization for half the cast, even though I do like Jace, he's one of the stronger characters. And also the 2-year time gap between episodes and the fact that this is clearly the culmination of his season 2 arc, etc. It does make it that, like, even though I like Jace and it's a shame he dies this episode, it's like
spoilers.
Yeah, I didn't it wasn't like a Robb Stark death.
Yes.
Like, maybe it could have been, but it didn't feel that way. I did feel the dragon like going and drowning, and I was like, no.
What that's another element that I don't think we've discussed yet. What did you think of the dragon dimension to this battle?
Interesting. Well, so visually it looked fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Breathing fire everywhere.
Oh.
I thought okay, let's dive into it. So this is very different from Fire and Blood.
Yes.
I think we need to address what happens in Fire and Blood is that
there are a lot more dragons for the first.
There are more dragons, but
all of the dragon seeds are there except Adam? ?
I can't remember if
Adam is there, but Moondancer isn't.
Yes, and maybe they wanted fewer dragons so that it's not like a complete sweep.
Which I think is a good choice.
I do actually agree. I don't think you need I've never liked the gullet from the book, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've never found it.
It's poorly described in the book, IMO, but
yeah. But I will say what is missing from this battle is a slightly more personal element, which is Jace trying to save his brother. The fact that Aegon and Viserys, Rhaenyra and Daemon's kids, are on the gay abandon. They get caught by the Triarchy. Aegon goes, and flees on Stormcloud back to Dragonstone. And Viserys is there, and Jace is like, I'm going to go save my brother. And then, that element isn't here. So it's more about him being impulsive and a bit arrogant and being like, let's wipe out this fleet. We've got this kind of the false immortality of youth, right? The arrogance there, which is still cool and interesting, but like you could argue that there's something missing with that he's not going out of his way to actively save his brother in this fight. And yeah, it does also throw into the air a whole bunch of questions about what the hell are they doing with Aegon and Viserys, but that's more for spoiler talk.
Yeah, that Aegon the absent and Viserys the vanished.
Incredible. Incredible.
I quite liked the dragons here. I think that Sheepstealer kind of going haywire was interesting. And I didn't dislike it as much as other people seem to. I saw people saying like everything is an accident in the show. And I do think that, like, yeah, we did see Vhagar doing something similar at the end of season 1 in terms of, killing Luke when Aemon didn't want to. But I do feel like this is kind of a different circumstance in terms of a dragon on the same side, just kind of going nuts and ending up, it's hurting their own side.
Yeah, I think people are annoyed less by Moondancer destroying Valarian ships and more by sorry, not Moondancer.
I was going to say,
I
missed that.
But more, yeah. But more by Rhaena and Sheepstealer kind of low key contributing to Jace's death in terms of like. But
which I don't think is really true. I don't think they really.
I don't think that's. I wouldn't. I've criticized the whole everything's a mistake, everything's a miscommunication. That pisses me off. I don't think this counts as one of those things. I don't factor that in.
Which will apply to my bingo.
Oh, I can't wait! Can't wait for the bingo.
We'll get
there.
we
I like it. I like it being just two dragons, and I like Sheepstealer coming in and fucking things up, and
Yeah.
Rhaena, and the consequences of Rhaena being like, oh god, I tried to tame a wild dragon, and these are the consequences, and
It's
think
gonna
I know
create
where
some
they're going to
really
go for a
interesting
character.
stuff
The
for
only
Rhaena.
issue I have is that I'm just not super interested in Rhaena, so I'm just kind of like, ugh, it's just kind of annoying.
I think this is gonna make Rhaena more interesting, which is why I'm excited for it.
We shall see. We shall see. The death scene itself, at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but then I was like, I like how unceremonious it is. That's kind of the point.
Yes.
Like, it could have been more dramatic. And again, it's, there's a whole bunch of bullshit leaks. I remember reading one that said, oh, they have him do something extra.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are they going to make it like a big dramatic death scene? And I was like, it doesn't need to be like one big like he crash lands on a boat and he has a last stand. It's like, no, it's the same thing in the books. He's like trying not to drown and he just gets hit by arrows. And it is anticlimactic and it is kind of like, oh shit. But that makes it all the more tragic.
I agree.
And then he sinks beneath the waves to join, presumably, Corlys and Tyland Lannister in full plate armor who were shoved off their respective boats.
Well, we should say in the Weeks Ahead trailer, we did see Corlys like on the rocks.
Oh, he got rescued by Bronn, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, so when Corlys went overboard, like the ships were already pretty much on the rocks. So I could see it being fairly realistic that he could get out of that. Tyland, though.
Tyland was just pushed into the water. No, to be fair, there were the teeth sticking up.
Yes.
So maybe he's landed on one, or he could.
But we also saw other Lannister soldiers get impaled on those teeth. So I would question whether that would happen.
That's a good point. Well, I guess rest in peace, Tyland, but we don't know for sure, so he's not in memoriam at the end. But...
Oh yeah, we have two new sections, two new segments for our weekly things, new characters. Do we know who Bottom Left is? Just this Kingsguard guy?
No, but he has a line of dialogue, which means he's now officially an actual. He's not just a Kingsguard extra. And I did look. I looked at the credits with my friend. That he's not. His character is not named, unfortunately. The actor's named. The character isn't.
I was going to say. I hope the actor's named.
Yeah, the actor is, but for some reason we don't know who he is.
It's Alan Connington, the Pale Griffin.
You wish. You wish. There will be no.
It could happen.
Ever.
It could happen.
Ever. No, this guy is either Sir Willis Fell, Sir Giles Belgrave, and I think that's it. I think those are the only two options.
My guess is
Marston Waters comes later.
Yeah.
So my bet is Sir Willis Fell. Everyone in the chat do the Willis Fell dance for me. I don't know what that means, but do it.
I don't know why you put this random squire on new characters.
Well, only because his face comes into focus, and I was like, well, if his face is in focus, they're doing a little trio, Quinn. You have Ormond Hightower, the prissy noble. You have John Roxton, the kind of bulky enforcer, and then you have the twink squire, and it's like a little trio going on an adventure, right? So
I did just get reminded of something. One of the reviews, I forget which, one of the early reviews of the season referenced during the Battle of the Gullet there maybe being a kraken.
what the fuck?
Like I'm not kidding. I don't remember who it was. I sent a screenshot of it on Discord. I'll try to find it for later. But like, what?
What did they? Then they hinted there'd be a kraken.
They said like
there's a
it was like hints to other fantastical elements in parentheses. Was that a kraken? Something? I don't know.
Yeah, what were they? What they?
I have no idea what they were talking about. And I've watched it twice and did not see anything. But
you know what they could be talking about? When the Lannisters got pushed overboard and the teeth were sticking up, maybe they thought they were tentacles.
Other people in the chat are saying maybe it's like episode 2. I do think those reviews had access to the first 4 episodes, so maybe. But
a kraken episode 2 would be crazy. Can you imagine?
Feeding That's what on the corpses, Corlys. Maybe.
Just like a tentacle picks Corlys up and like puts him down on the beach.
Oh, that'd be nice. And then of course in memoriam to our 3 fallen soldiers. Love that expression that Jason had.
I know, like it's such a good prop. I don't know if there's any CGI at work, but if it is purely practical, it's a great expression. It's like a oh fuck. Like you know what his last thought.
I hope that Jefferson Hall got to keep it.
Oh, that can you imagine just having your own severed head on a stick just in your living room? That would be awesome.
I will say before, so this is the end of the non-spoiler section. I'm going to go through super chats before we get to spoilers in case people are not going to tune in for that.
That's true. I will just quickly say rest in peace, Jason. Moment of silence. Cool character. Rest in peace, Jace. I thought his overall arc was pretty good. It's one of those characters where, like, if you were making this show from scratch without source material, you would have him live for longer because it is just a bit of a waste to get rid of him.
Yes.
And then, your fucking chat box. I'm gonna
rest in peace, forehead.
So much. Rest in peace, Shrek Aloha. Kind of badass in this episode.
Yeah, you misspelled.
And I'm not saying rest in peace to Thailand because he's vanished and we need confirmation. And rest in peace to Vermax as well.
Yes. Chad is saying you misspelled memoriam, but
I fucking knew I did. You didn't say anything.
I did not see this slide before I put it up. Thank you for the super chat from Schnitzel Fox. Have you been convinced yet of Varys X Littlefinger? If that is a ship, absolutely. I think that'd be perfect. Thank you to Pioneer 10F. I was talking about Longleaf the Lion Slayer as the other absent character listed. That is a very good point. I thought you were talking about Unwin, but I guess Unwin wouldn't come in until later. Thank you to Dapnu for the super chat as well. Did not send anything with it, but if you have a message, let me know. Flip Dip, thank you. Hightower Bathwater. I think that is a reference to a scene in an episode we have not seen yet that the reviews keep talking about. I'm excited about it. It will help my quota on something.
My wallet is out.
What was that?
I'm ready to buy. I'm willing to purchase. I have,
Thank you to Carlos Paredes. I bet Reyna will go to the Riverlands with Daemon and try to... I'm not going to fully say that because that is a spoiler, but I do agree. I think that Reyna is fully filling Nettle's role. Let's see. Thank you to CM Talks Muffick. I have answered every question since the episode finished with "We've come to die for the Dragon Queen." I think my wife wants to divorce me. That's pretty good. My condolences on the pending divorce. Thank you to the John Frey. Alan was so Chadley this episode. Also, why was Tylan so intelligent at naval warfare? He seems far more competent than previously portrayed. He was master of ships for a lot of years. So
and the Lannisters do control the Lannister fleet,
which is a very big fleet. I would say probably the third most consequential fleet in the Seven Kingdoms, behind the Greyjoys and the Red Wines. Which I'm surprised the Red Wine fleet isn't more of a role in the dance.
I think the Red Wines might be neutral in the dance.
I believe they are because the Tyrells are neutral. I think most of the parts of the Reach are neutral.
Yeah, and it's a good way of just not having a big, powerful fleet be involved.
Yeah. Thank you to Lord Mullendor. Good to see you. I like how Aemon said in Season 1, both strong boys would die in flames, as Harwin did, but they both died in sea, the Valyrian way. That's really interesting. I hadn't put that together. That's really cool. Huh. Let's see.
That's depressing.
Pioneer 10F, again, thank you very much. There are no real characters in Fire and Blood, but if there were, my favorite would most certainly be Longleaf the Lion Slayer. It is very much an unlikely story that Martin, always likes to do. Thank you to Joseph Knott. Considering we've only got like 15 episodes left and they're not focusing on Rhaenyra's younger sons, where do you think the show will end? Very good question. I'm going to put a pin in that to the spoiler zone because I don't want to give that away if people are still watching here without spoilers. Thank you to Autumnal Snow 00. He killed a noble's friend at his wedding. Nothing happened. Then they married with blood on the floor. No one even cleaned it. I'll never forget it. I assume this is talking about Kristen Cole. That is one of my bigger issues with Season 1. Just like no consequences for beating a man to death at a royal wedding. In the books, I think that Joffrey Lonmouth's death is like at a tourney, which I think could have been a lot more realistic, like if Kristen kills him that way.
More plausible deniability there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Poofed. At first I thought Ulf was telling a story just to Silverwing, and I was almost disappointed when that wasn't the case. Give me more Dragon Rider scenes. That would have been really cool. Like him confiding in Silverwing.
Yeah, that would have been sweet.
Someone in the chat says World of Ice and Fire has red wine on Team Green. I'm surprised they didn't come in as a Navy then.
Really?
That's strange.
I thought they're neutral.
Yeah, Only Dan's, thank you very much. I could be wrong, but isn't Hugh just supposed to be a meaner person in general? He seems too nice compared to his book counterpart. Yeah, so Fire and Blood is obviously told through the perspective of the Maesters, so we don't really know anybody's true characterization, but with Hugh, they very clearly added to him. He has a daughter, he has a wife, so they are very much, building that character out quite a bit. Thank you oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the chat is correct. The Red Wine did declare for Aegon. They just proceed to do nothing with their fleet for the whole war, which feels like a bit of a mistake on George's part, maybe.
That is fair. Also, I think they might have swung the war a little too much. Let me see. Thank you to Vandalman8. Remember when Kristen was punched in the face 14 times by a gauntleted fist by Harwin Strong and was just fine afterwards? Must have strong bones. That is true.
But then proceeded to punch Joffrey Lonmouth with bare fists and cave his
yeah, that was I forgot how much they showed that on my rewatch a couple weeks ago.
Should have been wearing gauntlets for that one, man.
Lord Mullendor says Ulf would have loved I don't know what these things are. Skeggy Butlins and Weatherspoons? Are those British things?
I mean, okay, so Weatherspoons...
I was concerned that those were like derogatory terms, which was my hesitation.
No, they're not. Weatherspoons is a chain of pubs throughout England. They're very nice. So they sometimes sort of take over sort of like local pubs, but they try not to sort of destroy them too much.
That's cool.
They're a little bit corporate, but they're nice. There's a classic stereotype is that you got two kind of people in Weatherspoons. You've got kind of lefty uni students and then right-wing middle-aged Brexit voters, and they can bond over a pint and like a burger.
That really is the Adam Ulf dynamic.
Exactly. And then I think it's more the Adam Ulf. You're right. I thought you said Hugh Ulf. No. And then Skeggy Butlins. I think that's just a reference to going to a Butlins camp in Skegness.
I don't know what
a little
that
holiday.
Is.
Skeggy Butlins. It's going to Butlins in Skegs, mate.
Of course.
It's a Skeggy Butlins.
Let's see. Thank you to Amanch G 7343. Do you guys think they'll pretend Laenor is Adam and Alan's father in the show? That is an interesting question because they do in the book, right? That's how they like.
There's no point. The ages don't make any sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Laenor would be like a child when he had them.
You could, in fairness, say that about a lot of things in this show.
That's a good. Actually, it's Westeros. That's a good point. Yeah, I stand corrected.
Thank you to Chiefy's Meefy. Crazy theory. The letter to Ormond was supposed to be quote unquote from King Aemond, but what if Ormond recognizes Alicent's handwriting? Maybe a subtle way to tip off her cousin not to trust Aemond. That is interesting.
There could be someone with Ormond who might recognize the handwriting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how close her and Ormond were, because I assume her main contact in Old Town would have been her father for the decade he was there, and then Gwaine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And bold John Roxton.
Of course. Thank you to Callum Dwyer. Love ye old Jewel Pod. This was when we had the image of Ormond up. Thank you to Pioneer 10F. Haven, don't forget about my Daeron theory. About his true parentage.
Let me double check that. I think is that a reference to the idea that Daeron might be a bastard and isn't Viserys' son, but is like Kristen and Alicent's son, and that's why he got carted off to Old Town. That's been a theory since like season 1 of the show.
Yes, but also cough cough, dyed hair, cough cough. That's all I'll say.
Potentially.
Condal is such a fan of the later books in A Song of Ice and Fire that I think that's exactly what he's doing.
Ryan Condleton. John Condleton.
Yeah. Thank you to a dude who loves Song of Ice and Fire. Alicent pretending to be on the green side, but pretending to strategize makes me wish in Season 2 she was actually loyal to the Greens and strategized. Yeah, I wish she had any agency that season. Thank you to Mrs. Mutz for the super chat. I think it's funny Condal not having Aegon and Viserys be at the Gullet has inadvertently led to Daenerys not existing, because how does Viserys get to Lys and forcibly married to Lara? Oh, I hadn't considered that.
You hadn't considered it? What do you mean?
That was like, I had seen people say that, and I assumed it was like, kind of nothing, will just still exist in another way. I think they'll probably still get over to Essos somehow.
Yeah, when they sent off last season.
I believe so they might have just gotten there.
Yeah.
But Aegon not being there presents a massive can of worms for Season 4.
It does.
That we will address no further because spoilers.
Ryan Condleton knows what he's doing. He cut them up at Tully's. He's based in my eyes. Trust him. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Can you imagine if we had Kermit Tully arguing with Daemon on the battlefield?
It'd be great.
Can you imagine? He's standing there like, no, we gotta bury our dead. We can't burn them. No. Don't do it, Damon.
Someone in the chat also asked if Sunfire's alive in the show. I would say almost certainly. Martin loves plots.
Long in the dying.
Yeah. Uncertain fates. Thank you to Tyler Clark. Mazzari is already regretting throwing in with Rhaenyra. Her reactions to Rhaenyra's shenanigans this episode were a highlight. Wholeheartedly agree. Pioneer 10F again, thank you. So far, Corlys is the best part of this season, in opposition to being the worst part of last season. Honestly, he might be my favorite character now. It would have been either him or the Oakenfist. I don't know if he's the worst part of season 2, but he's definitely much improved here. Lily G sent a super chat with no text. If you have a message, just send it in the chat. I'll keep an eye out for it. Another from Pioneer. My personal theory for Aegon the Absent and Viserys the Vanish is that they just completely forgot about them and they're not going to be acknowledged for the rest of the show. This is actually directly disproven. Condal has come out and talked about it. It's a similar situation to what he claimed for Maelor the Missing, with difficulties filming, violence around actors that young. But I talk about this in my video that's probably going to be out tomorrow. That is a problem of his own making, because the characters were aged down by like 6 years in the show. He didn't need to age them down, bro. Yeah, for Maelor, I think that's a real concern, because Maelor's quite young. But, like, Viserys and Aegon are, like, I think 8 and 10 in the book. And even if they are a bit younger, let's say, conceivably, Aegon could be, like, in the show, could be, like, 5, right? Isn't there a 6 to 7 year time skip between episode 7 and 8? So, like, in theory, you're telling me you couldn't have a scene of a 5-year-old on a ship being like, oh, there are other people trying to get us, and then clambers onto a CGI dragon, which would just be some kind of green mount, and then fly off? Like, you can't do that scene? Yeah. That's bullshit to me. That sounds like bullshit. It's a problem of his own making, because he made Stormcloud so small, too. Yes, but again, they probably made it so small because they were like, he doesn't need to ride the dragon, because they planned that they weren't going to do book accurate gullet since season 1, right? Is what he said. I accidentally triggered a 6-7 wave in the chat. I'm really I was gonna say, what is that? What did you do? I said 6 to 7 year time skip between episode 7 and 8. I'm so sorry. Thank you to Mayo Nation. The Drowned God and Squishers are eating well. I agree. A lot of future patch faces in the future of House of the Dragon. Jamie Lannister in the chat, super chat says, I like how Jace was able to blow dry his hair between scenes so he could mog in his death scene. That is a great point. That said, I don't know how much his head hits the water. I guess he does go under the water. That's a good point. I was going to say, I wasn't sure if he went down, but he did. Only a few more, it looks like. Thank you to Malcolm Ferguson. Does Bela know that was Rhaena on Sheepstealer, or is Jace the only one that saw her? I think Bela saw her as well. But I'm not positive on that. Thank you to Dude Where's My Car. I really appreciate it. This is actually a law school classmate of mine. Quinn loved the glue sniffing meme. Go kill it on the bar exam. A lot of potential character evidence in House of the Dragon. I agree. Someone else was also bar prepping. I did a lot of that today. Yesterday I did a 200 question simulated exam that nearly killed me. Oh my god. Which is great. It only took 6 hours. Or 7. Yeah, 6 or 7 hours. Thank you to Fire Flame Fine. Do you guys think we're going to get... do you guys think that the Battle of the Gullet isn't over and we're going to see more in the next episode? I think next episode is going to be mostly aftermath of the Gullet. Then last super chat to date from Thabisum Fauna. Alicent wrote a letter in King Aemon's name, widening the idea of King Aemon, meaning Rhaenyra taking King's Landing won't end the war. Stupid as hell. That's actually a pretty good point. Huh. Yeah, the idea of there being a new
that's
king,
not in the...
It could have just been Aegon, and Aegon's gone, so there's no king.
Yeah, that's not in the
not in the books either.
Like Aegon does go missing, but he's still considered, it's King Aegon's cause. But now it's basically like Aemon's foot on he has abdicated, and so now I'm king, which is interesting. And
no, Jaehaera is king.
Jaehaera is king. Shout out to King Jaehaera.
King Jaehaera.
Jaehaera the Conciliator. Yeah. Let's go. No, but I think Aemond being king and Aegon being missing is going to feed into a certain faction that I don't want to talk about now, but if we want to talk predictions at some point.
Yes. Two more super chats right as I thought I was out of the woods. Thank you to DR2T is King. I find that there are parallels between Martin and Condell funny. I hope the beef between the two will get me wins. But this is a good sign. But this was a good, not great episode, and the Blackfire sigil for the rightful kings. I do think that the two are quite similar in certain ways. My next video, which should be out tomorrow, is actually kind of on that topic. I figured it'd be interesting to examine why Martin has been so critical of House of the Dragon when he wasn't of Game of Thrones, and I think there are a few reasons for it that I go into in that video. And then last super chat to date from Jaime Lannister again. In the scene before Jace's hair is soaking wet, you are right, I was wrong on that. He did dive underwater to unlatch himself from Vermax. And
I just had a coughing fit.
Now.
I had to mute my mic.
Yeah. Are we ready to bingo?
Right. We are ready to bingo. So, I was gonna say, do we want an extra slide where we just talk about predictions, or should we just move on to bingo? Because that's wrapped up in bingo, I guess.
Well, I think it's wrapped up in bingo for now. We could do that for future ones though, if we want.
But let's head on to bingo. You know what's annoying? There's a new I have a lot of bullshit on my bingo. There's one that I had in my mind, but I didn't think about it during the stream, and it hasn't been confirmed in any way, and I think it's genuinely true, but now it's too late. God. Oh. Anyway, bingo. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Oh, one last super chat from Emperor Lucifer. Thank you very much. Allison saying Harrenhal withstood Dragonfire made me laugh. The writing and direction of the show is not where it needs to be. IMO worrying. Yeah, it didn't really withstand it, did it?
Yeah, I guess she's making the argument like the castle didn't blow up. It wasn't like burned to rubble, like it's still standing. But no, it didn't withstand. Everyone got cooked. Yeah, that line.
Are you ready to be the guy in the chair to mark off bingo squares?
I am ready to be the man in the chair.
Okay. On my sheet, which is first, I forgot to copy over my logo.
Hold on a sec. I do apologize, but
the bottom is cut off.
To move. Yes, because of your Oh no!
Oh my god!
No, it's
here. Let me try.
Oh god!
I'm gonna try something. I have another monitor. I want to see if I can be my own guy in the chair, or if everything will crash.
But then I have no. There's no point to my existence. Who am I if I'm not guy in the chair?
There we go. I can do it myself. Haha. So, my bingo squares that are marked off this episode. Let me just get that ready. Obviously, my free space got marked off. Jace died. Spoilers. Jace also mogged. He very much frame mogged Sir Laurent. Would you agree?
Oh, he did. He mogged in every scene.
I would agree.
He did frame mog Sir Laurent. I came up with that.
Rhaena Dragon Trouble. I've already got 3 in a row.
Shit.
What else? Old God's Magic, I think, is marked by Green Man.
I agree with that one.
So let's mark that off. Feast Dance reference. Do we think that line counts?
What line again?
The Rhaenyra line that is both Elizabeth line and Cersei line.
I think it's Elizabeth's line. I don't think.
Okay,
it's Cersei line.
I'm willing to reserve judgment.
The parallels are there, but I don't think it's. Yeah, I think that's a stretch.
Is that it? Is that all I have for this episode? Oops, I'm not counting yet.
You're not going to count any episode 1 thing as oops, not even Sheep Stealer. Okay.
I don't think so.
So far. Yeah. No visions yet.
No. No dicks.
No court beef triangle yet.
No court beef triangle.
Conceptual episode we'll find out about next week.
No younger kids.
No younger kids age up. The Toms are yet to be there. We had we saw elements of Oakenfist, but no official
Oakenfist. I think Oakenfist might be dead in the water, but we'll see.
We shall see.
But yeah, moving on to yours. I got 4 this week, which is a pretty good start.
Fuck me. All right, I'll do my own one. Get your grubby mitts off.
I've already got Diggit Martin on there.
Right. What have we got? So Marston Waters, no. Diggit Gurn. Why would Diggit Gurn be there?
What? No, I forgot it was on your card.
Oh, I thought you were saying there was one in the episode. I was like, I don't remember this. There was a Diggit. Glass Candle, no. Westling, no. Rainiscent, no. Kristen Cole Visions, no. Blah blah blah. Bartimos has returned. Oh my god, I have.
I was gonna say, I was wondering. You were saying he was gonna return like to his role as Master of Coin. I think that hasn't quite applied yet.
Listen, the space says that he will return in the show. No, you're right. Bartimos is not yet the Master of Coin. Conceptual episode, we'll have to find out. Maylor, I don't know what's going on. Dare on the Daring, there hasn't been any knighting scene yet. Cole, there has been a sad stare.
Who?
Oh, I remember when it happened in the episode. I did the Leo point at the TV screen. Who was it? Who did the sad stare?
I don't. Was it Corliss? It was Corliss looking at High Tide.
Yes, Corliss looking at High Tide.
When he froze. That was really funny to me as well.
Poor Corliss, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I get it's expensive to build that set, but I wish we'd got a shot of like the Hall of Nine or whatever it's called, like burning. Cheese Dog, Dragon DUI, not yet. Young Allison, Unwin Peak. Oh, Eamon.
It wasn't a vision.
You're right. You're true. You are 100% true. Okay, no reason why Damon fights on foot.
So when you said this initially, you said it was for every instance of it.
Yes. And while you can make the argument for this one, it's the aftermath of battle. He is covered in blood and mud, so I think I'm halfway there.
I would agree. I think you're not.
For this battle, there's no explanation. We will see in the future, battles like Tumbleton, why he appears to be not on his dragon in the trailers. So I'm halfway there. Because there is no reason given for that one. All right, Beesby reference, no. Corliss versus Tracker 1-on-1. So I saw the comments on the stream, and people were having go at me because they went, there's a behind-the-scenes picture of them fighting. I didn't fucking see it. I didn't see it.
I will, especially considering the fact you don't have any so far, I will give that to you.
Yeah, I didn't know they would fight 1-on-1. And I also thought Corliss would kill her, actually. I didn't expect it to
yeah. I like that Alan killed her.
I do. Yeah. I like that. It's a cool death, too, like stab in the throat and she sinks under the... That's cool. 6 boobs. We saw 1 boob from...
I was going to say, we are a sixth of the way there.
We were 1/6 of the way there. Shame it had to be a horrific scene.
It was a bad instance of it.
I don't get any fun from being 1/6 of the way around this side. That's just depressing. Dayron, we have yet to see Dayron. I forgot.
That's a really good square. Lute. I like that one.
Because he described it playing on his lute. And anyway. Scottish Rod. Okay, is there like a...
Dead.
Can I have a cross that's another color, which is just like, this square is fucked? Like, it can't be.
I got you.
What you got, Chief? What's your plan? It's Jova. No Scottish Roddy. Was there anything in yours that's like inconceivable?
So my thought was I might have lost Oakenfist because he didn't ram the ships.
He got rammed, yeah.
Yeah, but it's conceivable it could happen later in the season, but like nothing is like deconfirmed.
Yeah, that's true. I can't see there being any more naval battles.
I will say, the more reviews that have come out, the better people have been talking about the conceptual episode. So I think that one might be a little sunk, but...
Oh, I'm so glad I took the opposite take.
I was going to say, you took the under on that one.
Because we had no idea. Because we were like going in blind, like, will it be good? Will it be bad? Because people were mostly complaining about it before they even knew what it was. But we'll have to see. And the critics aren't always in line with the fans.
And I'll also say, based on what they've said, it sounds more like a bottle episode than a conceptual episode to me.
Yeah, honestly, the moment Ryan Condal said conceptual and people went, oh my god, is it going to be like... I kind of thought that it was an exaggeration, like it wasn't going to be conceptual. It following one character is not conceptual.
Really good point on Super Chat. I don't think I'm going to give it to you, but I do find it funny. From Liam Patrick, is the 4-legged dragon by George's name a dig?
Can you... Curse you, Condal. Curse you. That would be pretty.
You know, not a 0% chance on that one.
You'll have to make the argument if it's unfilled by the final episode. You'll have to convince people.
No, it's yours. I do want. You have the dig at Martin.
That's me. Holy shit! I'm not. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, I need to make the argument. Oh shit! No, it is a dig. Clearly.
Oh,
guys, it's so obviously a dig. No, I tell you what. If I could replace one of these, I have a theory.
Okay.
And I've had this theory
spoilers
since season 1. So it's this whole section.
I know.
Spoilers.
I don't think we said that just
we
before the
didn't.
bingo.
Apologies, everyone who's been spoiled with all this bullshit, but
we made it clear beforehand that bingo was spoilers.
Cards are probably like incomprehensible. But since season 1, I've kind of, especially when the Greens were portrayed as like extra villainous, and I was like, oh, it's a shame there's not a bit more variety here. There were a bunch of power mongers and psychopaths, but I thought, you know what could be interesting? If we cut to the Greens in the Reach, and they rally not behind Aegon or Aemond, but behind Daeron, and they push him as a claimant to the throne. And I had that idea as kind of a fanfic thing in my head since season 1. I didn't really do any videos about it. I was just like, oh, this would be cool. And I haven't seen anything about it in leaks or reviews or anything, genuinely, but I think that's where they're going.
I agree.
Based on how Ormond acting at episode 1, I think he's going to be like, well, Aegon has gone missing and abdicated the throne, and his younger brother is, by all accounts, a madman who probably killed Aegon, and because he's a kinslayer, we can rally behind Daeron, who happens to be my squire. And
who I can effectively rule for.
I can be the hand of the king, just like my uncle was. So
yeah.
I think that's a fun extra faction, considering the Greens have kind of imploded. That's a fun extra faction where we have Aegon, Aemond, and Daeron as different claimants to the throne. Team Green stands, and some book purists will be annoyed by that. Yes,
I think it would be really cool.
There's a part of me that's a bit disappointed that the Greens aren't a united front, and there wasn't that kind of like sibling support between Aegon and Aemond. But it's like, okay, the show's going a different direction. It's a cool direction. I would like to see the Reach doing their own thing. Like, we're going behind Daeron, King Daeron. Let's go. Like,
and
I think
there are lines in trailers that line up with that idea, with like Ormond saying the, almost Raymond Fossaway-esque, like, Targaryens are monsters, in addition to like this. I think he also said something about like an unsullied line of kings, so maybe he's trying to set something up there too.
Yeah, well, what's the implication of that line? Because Aemond is still alive, so how are Aemond and how are Aegon and Aemond sullied in a way Daeron isn't? Maybe
it's because they've all been fighting so far, and Daeron's kind of been removed from all of it.
Or is it more cultural? Like, he was raised in Old Town. He wasn't raised in the barbaric Valyrian practices. He's not going to marry his sister. He's been raised in the ways of Old Town and the faith. He is unsullied. Like, maybe it's like, but then that doesn't really make sense with the word bloodline. Someone in the chat, interestingly, is saying if they make him Alicent and Kristen Cole's bastard kid, then it's Ormond being like, he doesn't have gross Targaryen blood. But then he's a bastard, and they're
very against those.
Yeah, so I don't know.
This would be a big departure from the books. We do see Alicent at Harrenhal in a future trailer. That could be a vision. I would love to see a scene between Alicent and Daeron.
That would be...
I don't know how they would do it, but I'd like it to happen.
No,
it's same like I want a scene between Aegon and Rhaenyra that isn't the scene between Aegon and Rhaenyra, and they should have done it like in season 1, but they didn't.
We should have had Daeron. In fact, season 1 we should have had Daeron in episode 6 and 7.
Stop.
Oh, not again. It's not intentional. No,
yes,
we should have had Daeron as a kid, and then in between 7 and 8 he gets sent off to Old Town. But you could have just had him as a kid, but they clearly didn't know what to do with him. Oh, no, sorry. They didn't know if they wanted to do anything with him. But...
Yeah. But yeah, before final thoughts, we have a few more super chats to wrap up. The John Frey, thank you very much. Is it possible...
Do you want to move on to the final slide?
Oh, yes. Very good call.
Just as a little...
Just a plug.
Little plug.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The John Frey, thank you very much. Is it possible that Tyland is crippled from falling off the ship instead of by Rhaenyra's hand? It would make me so mad. That would also make me mad. I could see him getting injured, but I don't think the extent of his injuries would be able to happen from that.
I made that joke on the Discord. I was like, Tyland lands on the teeth and gets disfigured so that Rhaenyra doesn't have to torture him. Like, please no. Let her... I want a scene, because I
think we will.
What are they doing with Tyland? Because how is he making his... I guess you could say he gets captured by Velaryon or like Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Loyalists, and then he gets to... Because I want Rhaenyra to make the call. I want Rhaenyra to be the one who's like, he's not telling us where the gold is, torture him for information. Like, please let her do that. She can be reluctant even, but I don't want it to be like, oh, someone else is doing it and she has nothing to do with it. Blah, blah,
I think
blah.
she will. I think that is a direction that they won't be afraid to take her. Ideally.
I landed on the rocks and my eyes have gone. I'm the hooded hand.
But yeah, also thank you, Longshanks, again. What if the captain escorting Aegon is Marston Waters, or becomes him at least? That could be interesting.
Ooh.
Like the captain with that group who pulled him over?
Where he seemed like a staunch ally of the Blacks.
Yeah, I don't know if he could be turned. I could see somebody in that group maybe being him, but I don't know. And then last up, Pioneer 10F. Thank you again. This is something that will be for season 4, and I don't want to happen, but do you think there's a chance they're going to combine characters of Perkin the Flea and Tristane Truefire? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Perkin the Flea is pretty singular, and I do think we will get Perkin the Flea in the show.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should be the same character. I think I do really want Moon of the Three Kings.
I question whether we will get it.
I do too, but I would like it. I want to see Perkin and Tristane. Yeah. I want to see. Well, Sylvie's already been set up. Maybe Sylvie can be the kind of the puppet mistress of young Gaiman Pale Hair.
Yeah.
And then the shepherd. Where's the shepherd?
I am 99% sure we see him this season. Like, they have to. Just given how early the dragon bit's going to have to happen next season.
Oh, someone's already clipped me on my Discord saying, talking about mother-son incest.
Thank you, Lord Mullendore. Will they make us care about Joffrey before his skydiving arc with such little time left? Has the actor changed again? Good question. I hope so, but we'll see.
Yeah, his acting. Well, he's already had 2 actors, so
yeah. I was hoping that we care about him, not that they change actors again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is just about it. If you've enjoyed the stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel and the late Lord Haven's. What do you have going on, Haven?
I released the animated history of House Velaryon, kind of like an update of like one of my first ever videos from 3 years ago. And every week apart from every week apart from week 3 of Hot D, I'll have an animated video and a review. There's no review for episode 1 because I wanted to merge episode 1 and 2 reviews together, and I'm also lazy. And every week, Quinn and I are going to be live streaming, alternating channels. This week on Quinn's channel, next week on mine. And I'm also going to be trying to do weekly live streams with my friend Alex, who hasn't read the book, so we can get like a normie perspective on what they think will happen in the show. And I'll probably be doing prediction live streams on Sunday. That's maybe. I didn't do it last Sunday, but we'll have to see. Yeah, just animated videos and reviews. Like almost every single week of Hot D, I have so much prepared in advance. 100k subs by the
daily
by
videos from Fantasy Haven.
Let's go, people.
And in terms of my own work, I have a bunch of videos upcoming. Like I'd mentioned earlier in the stream, one tomorrow about Martin and Condal's beef and how it differs from how Martin, has talked about Game of Thrones in the past, despite it declining to, I would say, a worse degree. And yeah, I'll have many more videos relating to House of the Dragon and also, the books, as is my typical thing, throughout this entire time. So thank you all again so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us again next week on Haven's channel, and then in 2 weeks again on this channel for more discussions.
Goodbye, beautiful people.
Goodbye, everybody. All right, I believe we are clear.